Do not adjust your radio dial. You are tuned in to the Mark Order Podcast. Join the Mark Order.
Oh yeah. Thank God it's Wednesday. That Tuesday fucking killed me last week. But it's Wednesday. It's the Mark Order Podcast. Here on the Shining Wizards Network. Episode 83. Episode 83. Sexy 83.
No, ants.
What?
It's only sexy when it's 69, and we're not going to be at a 69 joke for like a really long time. Unless when we get to episode 96, we do some kind of fun reversal weirdo thing.
I don't know if you want to get into the 96, Kate. It's pretty fucked up.
Hard pass.
No 96s. 83 tonight. But 169. We'll pull back out that intro we used for episode 69.
That was the best.
Asian Joe.
Can we play that intro for 96, but in reverse?
Just backwards?
Yes.
I mean, I could just flip it and reverse it.
Put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
Do you know, for the longest time, I really didn't know that. You know that song, right? Just
Oh yeah.
Put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it, and then it plays something backwards. Did you know that that's the line backwards? I didn't know. I honestly didn't.
Yes, but not until, like years after it came out.
I really never knew. And I'm talking until like recently, like 2 months ago. That's how stupid I am.
I saw it on some online thing being like, did you know? And I told you that. It's like, oh, cool.
Hey.
I don't think you're stupid. It's not like you could figure it out. You know what I mean? From like what she's saying or whatever.
I mean, in reality, there was a period of time I thought I was going to be like a recording studio, engineer. I had Pro Tools and all that stuff. I could have easily just put it in, flipped it, and reversed it.
It's true.
I heard what she said, but
it's
I didn't.
True.
I didn't. Anyway.
What up, fellas?
Wednesday night, much better than a Tuesday night. Kate's here. Schlong is here. AntMoney's here. Matt is still serving his suspension.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to talk about that. We're just going to say he's serving his suspension, and we'll see when the investigation's over. Ryan's pointing to something on his hat that we're definitely not talking about. Yeah. So Kate, what's going on with you?
Oh, just living the dream, man. I couldn't make it last Tuesday because I had the Tuesday NXT AEW stream. I got to cover AEW, which is the better end of that stick.
Oh, sure.
And I feel like the past 2 weeks I've been on an upswing, but overall I've been good. Kind of settled into my new job fully now. Like I'm feeling really good about that.
That's good.
On the peak to get a new dog. We're scouting some dogs out.
Oh, you're scouting dogs. I wasn't sure if anything was in play.
Nothing in play. I'm gonna go to an adoption event this weekend, I think. So as long as I can make it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, best of luck. You didn't have a commentary gig, did you?
I did not. November 5th is the next one.
November 5th. Did we come up? I can't remember. This is my brain's like a goldfish. Did we come up with something to say?
All right, Kevin. Well, last time we came up with Yowza Yowza, but I got it on
You
the
did it in the pre-show.
pre-show
That's right.
match, which
That's
wasn't
right.
recorded to the public, so we can reuse Yowza Yowza because that one deserves to be in audio history of Excite Wrestling. So
Okay. Yeah. Then let's run back Yowza Yowza
that
On-
one's worth running back.
on the show proper this time, Kate, because
Well, now I know. Now I
it
know.
will be amazing to hear how you actually work in Yowza Yowza.
Well, all I need is like one big spot in a corner or something, you know?
You could do that, or it could be like you're really proclaiming something like Yowza Yowza. What a match.
Or like a really medium heel promo, and I'm just like, oh, Yowza, Yowza, he's coming in.
It's such a versatile phrase.
It is, but a nice little plug up front. Catch us on twitch.tv/Excite Wrestling with an X on November 5th. Dan Barry will be back there, so that's fun. I love it. Yeah.
Well, that's fun. Dog adoption event. A lot more television, a lot more free time now that you're not glued to the television. We're not going to talk about it. But I'm in the same boat. Ryan, we're not talking about that. It's the wrong podcast for it. But how are you doing?
I'm doing great. The Philadelphia Phillies are in the World Series. How are the Yankees doing?
We're going to be entering a rebuilding season.
You should have been doing that for the last 20 years.
If I was like, first of all, we did with this whole crop that Aaron Judge was a part of. And second of all, if I was logged in, I would just take you off the stream, but I'm not logged in. So, Ant, that's
You
your
want me to just
discretion.
pull them out?
Yeah, why
I can
not?
pull them out.
Man, that just seems like
Good
jealousy.
to see you. It is. It fully is. I'm
I will say this.
not pretending
Schlong.
it's not.
I will say this, Schlong. When Bryce Harper became a free agent, I can't tell you how many times and how many conversations that I had with people saying I want him in a Yankees uniform.
Didn't he want to be in a Yankees uniform?
I honestly can't remember, but
There's quotes out there of him being like, it's a career dream if I to play for the Yankees.
Yeah, I'm like 90%. Yeah, because I'm like, the joke was he wanted to be in pinstripes, but he ended up in red pinstripes.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted him as a Yankee so fucking bad.
He has, and he, I don't understand why they didn't pay for him. He's delivered on that contract already. He's an MVP in the playoffs. No matter what happens, because listen, I'm realistic. The Astros are an amazing team. Chances are they're going to win, but I'm realistic.
I'm not gonna lie,
But he's
Schlong.
performed.
I'm not gonna lie, Schlong. I like the Phillies in this series. I like the way they've played this entire playoff run.
And the part of the reason the Yankees series was so frustrating was there were winnable games in it. Like 3 of the 4 were close enough to being winnable games, and the Yankees didn't win. So if both teams keep playing the way they're playing, I think the Phillies have a real shot.
Well, if the Phillies did what the Yankees should have done, and you would like Harper comes up to bat, they're down 1 run, and he hits a home run. Like he hit the big hit in the big moment. Whereas like your big hitters just for whatever reason just weren't doing that.
But
burning
the other
down
thing,
my apartment, so
go for it. The other thing too, though, is your team seems to have players who they're not feast or famine. Like they'll hit base hits. They're not just swinging for the fence every time. And I'm a Yankee fan, but I'm a baseball realist. I can't tell you how long I've said they need to just fucking hit. They can't swing for the fence every time. If you ask me, the product on the field needs to be totally revamped. The IKF thing didn't work for the Yankees. The Donaldson thing didn't work for the Yankees. They were serviceable for periods of time this year, but not in the long run.
The streakiness fucking kills you.
Torres has to go. And
Torres. Yep.
I'm going to throw a controversial thing out there. If Judge goes, so be it. I understand the business sense in why, you keep Judge around. He puts butts in seats. He sells jerseys. He was
also almost a Triple Crown winner. I mean,
sure, but he didn't. but he's
Yeah,
not.
but
I think you gotta-
he hit 62 home runs and hit over 300. Like,
I think you have to keep him.
What does that mean when you go 5 for 36 in the playoffs?
well, I mean, the whole team didn't hit, right? So,
I don't disagree, but if, again, playing devil's advocate here, if he's your guy, you got to show up to play.
oh, I think he should be cheaper because of that, and he won't. But I will say, Benintendi and DJ LeMahieu being out sucked. Like, those are two guys who get on base.
Agree.
And I think, and I don't even think it's all Judge's fault. Like, Michael Kay made this point too, and I agree. Like, he at the end wasn't getting anything to hit when he was close to the record, and then he was up against the best pitching in the league. And so, like, he wasn't really seeing strikes for like the last 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden he's against the best pitchers in the league. Like, I'm kind of not surprised, but
the other problem too is the kids, Oswaldo and whatever, the two kids they brought up. I can't remember both their names, but Cabrera, that's it. Both of them were not ready for the elite pitching that they saw in the playoffs. So you knew they were dead spots in the lineup. But listen, there are issues that, like, I don't think baseball is the type of sport where you can have one star player and get through to the end. No, you really do need an entire team. So if you're going to just say we're going to pay Judge whatever we need to keep him, right now he's the word on the street. And yes, Asian Joe, I did say elite, talking about baseball. But if you're going to pay Judge what we think he's going to command, 350 to 400 over 10 years, that's going to hurt your yearly payroll. You still got Stanton for a number of years at an exorbitant amount of money. Now, Stanton, believe it or not, actually showed up. So I can't be mad at him. He
shows up in October, man.
Can't be mad at him. But
the whole thing's a mess. Like, to your point, like, if you're going to, I'm okay with spending the money on Judge, but it can't stop there. Like, there's so many things that have to be fixed. And I've been out on Boone for, I didn't like the hiring in the first place. And he's completely, like, the one thing everyone said about him was, like, he has his guys. And you saw it in the ALDS, he completely lost the clubhouse. And now you have Jeter and, of all people, Mariano Rivera in the press saying he should get fired. They're not going to fire him, but, like, they absolutely should. They absolutely should.
Here's the thing. And
some of that was managerial.
To close out my Judge point.
Yes.
350 to 400 million over 10 years. What's he, 30 now? He'll be 31 next year. So you're talking about somebody till he's 41, right? What's he? He's not in his 20s still. I think he turned 30.
He's just about 30, yeah. I think he just turned 30, yeah.
So
gross. People who are 30 were born in 1992.
Yeah. So he'll be 40 by the time that contract's up. Plus they're paying him that money, right? Plus, here's what you got to worry about in free agency. The Dodgers say they're in on him. They're going to drive the price up because San Francisco wants him, and San Francisco says we will not be outbid. So we're going to get into a bidding war now over him. What is the price going to be? Like, you can't do that. The other thing is, to your Boone point, they're not going to fire Boone. They just gave him a 3-year contract with a 4th-year option. Why would they sign him to that and then fire him? He took them to the NLCS. And I know he failed. ALCS. Talking about the Phillies, NL. He took him to the ALCS. So you're not going to fire him. You're not going to fire him. And a lot of people... I would say
this time, though, there were actual managerial decisions, like game over game, that made a huge impact on how they cost them. And I don't know, doing things like psyching the team up with the 2004 series, I think is idiotic. The dumbest shit I've ever heard. I honestly, like, I was obviously disgusted as a Yankee fan, but, like, as someone who...
Ryan's loving this, by the way.
No, I've realized what the real Yankee fan problem is. And for you guys, and it's not for our generation, it's your age. And being that you've seen them at that through those mid to late 90s dynasty years where money did not matter. They would literally spend whatever on whoever.
Yeah, but they were
and
the
they
seventh. They're the seventh biggest payroll this year.
Yeah, but hold on. But never holding on the Judge would never have been a decision about money because of how he affects other players. It would have been, do we see him for our team? Now they may be the seventh biggest payroll, but they're not willing to be first by like double the amount of everyone else like they used to be. So there's discussions I think taking place that used to not need to take place. Like if this were 2001, Judge is signed already to an insane amount.
They don't want to hit that luxury tax, and that's
I don't blame them, but it's the first our generation for the Yankees fans didn't see that. They used to be willing to hit that luxury tax over and over and over again.
But it's also the changes of the game. When you look back on the dynasty years, they're kind of the superstar. Like you had Scott Brocious, like you obviously had Jeter and you had Power with some guys, but like it was just a more. It's that thing of in modern baseball, it's like Power can sustain you through the regular season, but Power against good pitching wins. So you need people that can manufacture runs. If you look at like the successful Red Sox teams of recent, if you look at the Astros going 4 out of 6 times in the World Series, all those teams have a balance. They were killed by like, I think DJ being hurt is a big one, but Benintendi being hurt is a big one. But like the fact that we didn't have a closer or B, a consistent lineup going into the ALCS, there's no way you're going to beat that. And Houston also a great team. Like they're phenomenally
sure, they cheated,
well
but they're great.
I mean, this year though, like
I want to cheat all this year. You can't live that down.
No,
we're still fighting into that same dynasty.
But like realistically, right now, like that pitching staff is good luck, Ryan. Like that is
no. The only difference is, like you guys said, the Phillies. If watching the Phillies play, I was watching with a friend, and we were noticing that they were hitting opposite way, which they don't normally do. They were doing a bunch of things they don't normally do because they were in the playoffs, and like you guys said, just being on base changes everything in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, which is actually what made Bryce Harper better, is because people were on base for him. Whereas for your big hitters, no one was on base, so they get pitched to way differently. They have to put the ball.
The thing that I like about Judge is that he hits for average too, but there was just nothing. I feel like he was swinging for the fences constantly because it was just like, well, will either score if I hit go yard, or we won't
it's
score
also
at
the
all.
problem when you're the only guy who
is doing anything.
That's the problem when you're the only guy. Him and Stanton are the only two who can get, RBIs. The pressure on them mounts to where they're always swinging for the fences.
Of course.
Harper didn't feel that because Hoskins was hitting home runs. Other guys were hitting their doubles and singles. Like you guys all over the Phillies and Astros, the same thing.
Real Muto, who I love. I was hoping to see him come alive.
Amazing.
I love that dude.
I will.
But anyway, baseball sucks. I hate baseball. It's the dumbest sport in the world.
I'll say this at least about, I gotta keep going. I'm sorry. If we're talking about baseball now, I'm fucking on a roll. Anyway, the only problem though too, Kate, with Boone, like why you honestly, yes, you're right. Managerial things he did wrong, but you can't blame him for the lineup because he's just trying to do anything at this point with what he's got, which is nobody to put in that lineup. So it was like, I heard on ESPN radio or The Fan, they did something. Somebody called up and was like, he's got to change the lineup. They were like, he's changed this lineup 3 times. What is he supposed to do? What is the magic combination to unlock this lineup? There was no way to do it when you don't have, like you said, Benintendi, you don't have LeMahieu, you don't have some of these other guys in your bullpen or on your staff to help you out. You're screwed. You can't also fault him for the errors that these kids made.
Oh my God, 6 errors in 9 games
and they cost him them the game in every situation. But
I will say there's something that is tangible with a team that looks lackadaisical, and there's something that is tangible with a team that looks fired up. They looked lackadaisical, and that to me is a sign of bad managing. Like he's the manager. His job is to manage the defense and offense. And his bullpen management fucking sucks.
Well, that's been, we've dealt with that for 2 managers with Girardi and Boone. and now Girardi's out of baseball. And look what happened when they kicked him out of baseball. The Phillies go to the World Series.
I know. Pulling Garrett Cole for Trevino? Let's go jump off a bridge.
The only other thing I could say to close loop on the New York baseball Yankees, Kate, is everybody's talking about firing Cashman. That's not happening. He's there until he doesn't want the job. And my other argument is, who do you get to replace him? He will never take another job as a GM. He works for baseball, and I think USA Baseball.
And
plus
every man
everybody has a price. Thank you. But the other thing too, Kate, is don't forget this. Yankees fans want to win now, right?
That's gone now.
But don't forget, in the two places where Theo went, where the teams hadn't won a World Series in decades, the plan that Theo set up was always a 10-year minimum plan. He got there quicker because they were able to move things around and get things done, but his plans were always a 10-year minimum. That won't fly in New York.
Yes and no, though, because that was also the state of the teams he was walking into a little bit, I think. Like, Yankees aren't in great shape, especially with what free agency has in store, but at the same time, they're at least competitive, where, like, the Cubs were just sad. So, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know, man. I think it's going to be an ugly offseason, but Cashman's not going anywhere. I also think I understand why people are frustrated, but at the same time, like, I think he did a pretty good job getting the pieces that he needed to in place. But, like, a lot of those pieces got injured. You think of the injuries in the bullpen to, like, King, and you think of DJ and Benintendi going down, and, like, I think he actually did a good job. You look at what Bader did in the postseason; he was a great call. So I think there actually was.
I like to call him Master.
In the playoffs, he is 5 homers.
He was Master Bader.
He's got to come back, but I think Cashman got a bad rap. I think he actually did a good job with what he put on the field. I just think we didn't have the depth that we needed to.
Well, the trade deadline acquisitions didn't pan out, so
Bader did.
Bader's the only one. Now, he did. I would argue that he got the best people he could that were available at the time. They didn't get the pitcher they wanted, so they went with the number 2 best. You can't, if they're not available when the time comes, then you can't say it's a fail, because you can only go with what the best available is at the time you pull the trigger. But they didn't work out. Everybody got hurt. So that could be the other issue, is they need a better front office staff who can evaluate, some of what these players have going on health-wise and all that stuff. I mean, you never really know.
The brain in their head would be nice, though, too. Because I get the analytics thing, but my God. Well, Trevino's our 7, 8, 9 guy. It's fucking game 3 and you're down.
Sabermetrics, man. That's what baseball wants, I guess. Well, it doesn't matter, because next year, Joey Gallo is going to be an all-star with no shift in place. He'll be a Hall of Famer, with half these other guys who can only hit one way.
Listen, I hate the shift, so I'm not complaining.
I'm of the thought that if you want to move the field around, fine. I get why baseball doesn't. They want more offense. But maybe challenge some of these players to do something to generate some offense.
At the end of the day, learn to hit the fucking shift and everything. Because
how about just bunt? Put a bunt down.
A single in a shift turns into a double almost instantly.
Yeah.
Because there's no one there.
You guys, do you want to just do a baseball podcast?
I would show my ass quickly.
I would have said yeah. While it was wonky in booking and we were going into October, I would have said yeah. But now baseball makes me sad.
Yeah. Well, hey, Schlong, how about the NFC East? That's a great division, huh? Got something to look forward to there, too.
I don't like Philly being good at sports. It's uncomfortable.
Everything
is
in
the
basketball.
NFC East.
What'd you say?
New York's part of the NFC East.
I know, but A, I'm a Steelers fan, so I'm just saying all over the
that's
place.
a personal problem.
And B, it's not even like anything rivalry wise. It just is such unfamiliar territory of Philly.
It's actually not.
Consistently
Philly-
at the same time, though. When was the last time you
It's
guys?
actually, if you really, and we don't win a ton of championships, but that's the problem with Philly. We fall short of it. But our teams usually end up being just all good. Yeah, I know what that's like. Our team ends up being, all our teams end up being good at the same time and then bad at the same time. It happens constantly.
Fair.
What usually happens, Kate, is they all fall apart at the same time, and right now it hasn't happened yet. But
It
one
will.
domino can fall here, and then the rest of them will go inevitably because all 4 Philly sports teams are still playing right now, and that hasn't
The best
happened.
part about all this is I'm almost impossible to trash talk sports wise because I just don't care once the losses. I watched the Flyers lose the Stanley Cup in front of me, and I was happy before I was home. It does not stay with me that long.
I'm glad that you were happy before you were home.
That's right.
Fuck
Before you
you.
got home and had your nice post Stanley Cup hoagie.
It wasn't even that bad on that one, but I was like, I had to say
You
it.
got to do it. Just to make yourself feel better. So Schlong,
I'm
besides
clinging to, I'm a Steelers fan. My Yankees are out. CM Punk is gonna be gone.
Uh-oh.
We
Look
lost
at
her.
that. The karma took Kate away from us.
That's what she gets for talking shit to me. Oh,
All right,
she's
she's
back.
back. She's
I'm back.
unfrozen.
Talk shit.
so-
and
So Ryan, beyond Philly sports, how's everything else going? Good?
life is good. Life is good.
Good.
I got nothing going on. I got the devil on my shoulder.
That's right. You do have the devil on your shoulder.
That's MJF.
It's an honor of Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Ooh, I like it.
Because it also plays into my theory, and this exact scene plays well into it. So,
Okay, we'll get there.
yep.
So, guys, good news. We officially secured the bag with the suite for Full Gear. So we're all set. I guess I'll be getting everything, tickets and whatnot soon, but we are just working out the details on everything else. So we will be at Full Gear, the full Mark Order podcast, and as far as I know, the full Shining Wizards podcast.
Yes.
And Phil from
That's the insane part.
well, yes, this is like
When
Harry
Harry met Sally. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say this is more like an evasion angle that'll work, but yeah, so we do have the Shining Wizards, the Mark Order podcast, and the Impact Play of Phil Rhea will be with us in our booth or in our suite booth. What am I talking about? So I did take a look at where our box was last Friday. I went to the arena to see Iron Maiden, which was awesome. But I was like, there's gonna be some damn good seats. Those are gonna be good.
Hell
So,
yeah, I'm
it-
excited.
Things are looking up. I'd
Things are
suggest
coming up, Millhouse.
That's right. That's one of my favorite
Speak
Simpsons
for
things. ever.
yourself. I'm a Yankee fan, a Steelers fan, a CM Punk fan. I've had a lot of losses this year. I
Yeah, it's
need
not
this
been good
one.
for you.
No.
My dog
Um,
died. Come on. I need a W here, guys.
Jesus Christ. Too fucking real at the end
I'm
there,
sorry.
Kate.
It's been a rough year.
I don't mention our fallen comrade because it hurts too much. Also, one of the best people in the Discord ever.
I know. Buster's Red Rocket. Rest in
Gone
peace.
but not forgotten. But at least, Kate, you're not going to be a
Taking off
victim in
in
your own
dog heaven
home.
now. I'm sorry.
Big ups.
But at least now you won't be a victim in your own home, Kate. You don't
It's
have to
true.
be scared.
I won't be
Walking
getting
around
Humpty
on
Humps.
eggshells. Yeah, there you go.
You won't be Kate, for you. You won't be a victim in your own home.
In
Didn't-
my own
own
home.
We're also going to talk about, we're going to just touch up on Rampage here in a second, but I will say this. If you're around Friday night for the live Rampage,
Mhm.
I suggest you tune in because you may see somebody sitting first row ringside.
Show your tits. Show your tits.
I mean, you never know. Maybe.
Thanks
You'll-
for the invite, Aunt. I thought we did these things together, but I guess not.
I'm sorry. I think I actually said, "Do you guys want to go to Atlantic City for a Friday night Rampage?" And
I said
you know,
I would.
I actually thought you said you didn't want to go to Atlantic City for a Friday night
That's
Rampage.
what I thought.
no, I asked if anybody wanted to go, and everybody said no. And then,
I've been saying I was in forever. I think Matt just.
I'm calling shenanigans on this.
or are we talking about? Wait. Are we talking about the Full Gear Rampage? Because I know I said I'm not going to that because nobody wants to go, and then Kate said I might want to go, and then
I think we confused Rampages then, because I think we said you didn't want to go to the Atlantic City one.
No, nobody wanted to go.
No, Kate said she wanted to go to that one.
I've been saying I would go back to the AC one because that was a very fun experience.
Well,
I could probably apply for press credentials for us.
For Full Gear, I mean,
no, for the Rampage.
I mean,
get past this.
If we get past this somewhere, I will dress up like the Young Bucks.
I'm at least applying.
Okay.
I will not dress up as the Young Bucks, but that's just a me thing.
Why, Schlong? I have an extra set of that outfit. It won't match, but it'll look good.
Super Schlong Party! Which sounds like something else.
Schlong Party! Super Schlong.
But yes, well, let me...
22. Ryan just going, Super Schlong Party.
That's it.
As you were.
No, so Kate, it wasn't something that was planned. It actually just kind of took shape literally yesterday when I texted you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So Gina and I were going to go to Connecticut next week just to get away for the weekend. But then Gina has to go to work in the city the whole following week. So she didn't want to be away for like 10 days essentially. So I said, fine. So she suggested we go to Connecticut for a weekend this weekend. We had planned to go Friday through Sunday. And that's it. Like, we don't normally plan stuff. It's just like, let's just go up, we'll hang out, eat and walk around and shop or whatever. It's just get away, right? So Gina goes,
get away. Gina
sent me a text. I get it, Ryan. It was a good one. Gina said, "Hey, look, this is happening. I forgot this is happening. Do you want to go?" I said, I guess. Like, she was like, "No, I legit would like to go to this. And there are front row tickets and they are not that expensive." And I said, like, she said, "I'll show you where the seats are. Pick a seat." And tonight during tonight during Dynamite, did you guys see on the side of the ring facing the ramp, there was a guy at one point in a like jack-o'-lantern jacket?
Yes, yeah, I did notice.
That is right around where we'll be.
Nice.
So we have potential of being right there all night, depending on what's going on. So
I mean, you guys will definitely probably be seen on Dark and/or Elevation because they'll likely have Tony Nese and Josh Woods out because they are regulars on there, and they're going to want to put the camera on Mrs. Money just melting.
Of course.
I told her she should absolutely wear her Tony Nese shirt. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I said Tony. She should wear a Tony Nese shirt.
She could wear a Tony Nese shirt.
She said, "I can't wear the Tony Nese shirt because I'll look like a mark." And I said, my response was, "But you are a mark because you're working out with him because you think he's hot." And she said, "He is hot." So I said, "Okay, so just wear the shirt." So she doesn't know she doesn't wear the shirt.
Everything about that exchange. I don't want to look like a mark. I'm just in the front row of a wrestling show on Friday night.
It's like
she for sure. I'm pretty sure she's listening. So she's always listening. By the way, she tells me, you guys, I listen to the first hour to see if I say mean stuff about her. I'm like, I never say mean stuff.
Not until the third hour, at least.
Shut up.
The only person that talks shit on their spouse is Rhiannon in the background when Matt's on.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Because
He's
she's
here,
like,
and
yeah, you are wearing the dress. I am wearing the pants.
Yeah, that's basically
And,
what
and,
it's like.
and
I
in my
shoot the
mind,
gun,
I'm like,
motherfucker.
that's right. But in my mind, I'm like, hey, gender norms aren't what they used to be. It's okay. But Matt's
Yeah.
like, Matt enjoys it. I
used to
think.
be.
So yeah, I don't know what Miss Money will be wearing. I'm not making. The terrible part about this? This would be the first opportunity to get a Mark Order sign on television. I'm not making a sign. I don't have the time to put into this because
have
the
a
other
t-shirt?
thing, I don't. What Mark Order T-shirt do I have?
Get a white shirt or get a black shirt with white tape.
Do you know how
Or
much
just use
time
our
that would take?
stickers.
Yeah,
just-
one tiny sticker
Everywhere.
right on the front.
No, just all over yourself.
Tiled pattern.
I'll tell you what I'll tell you what I'll have. This is going to be the first time it's going to be worn. It's going to be the Macho Man sequin jacket. Purple sequins, not the one that's multicolored, because I've seen other people with it front row at Dynamite. I'm wearing the purple one with, on the back, it says Macho Man with the sunglasses, which Gina says looks like a butt, but it's sunglasses. We all know that.
Do you have a Macho Man hat?
I don't, but you're talking about Macho Man, Slim Jim era Macho Man. This would probably be
okay.
This was pre-cowboy hat. This was when it was headband and sunglasses.
That
not
was my next thing. Do you have a headband and sunglasses?
I don't, but my biggest regret with these Macho Man sequin jackets, there were 3 of them. I missed one of them, and they never redid it. And I think that was the one that said Macho. That was Macho King. In which case, I would just buy a crown.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? We're still in Halloween season, right? I got it all. You dress up as the Macho Man, and Gina dresses up as the Slim Jim.
The Slim Jim. So not Sensational Sherry, not Miss Elizabeth. No, the Slim Jim.
The Slim Jim.
And I would just walk around going, snap into a Slim Jim.
Exactly.
Okay.
You'd get attention.
Don't say that to Tony Nese. If you tell Tony Nese to snap into your Slim Jim, you're already losing her,
I mean, Gina's going to say it.
She'll be like, snap into my Slim Jim. What? Well, who said that? She is 100%. She was like, we'll sit front row because it's like not that expensive, but she knows what she's doing. She's like, I'm going to get a close eyeful of
abs up front.
Tony
Let me
Nese.
touch your abs.
She is very excited that we found out tonight. So obviously the Rampage starts at 10 o'clock, but the show's at 8, so they'll do all the tapings beforehand. So that's likely we'll see Josh Woods and or Tony Nese.
Hell yeah.
She was happy to find out that on Rampage we get Claudio. So she's going to get to see 2 of her boyfriends Friday night. Although she is disappointed he doesn't come out and do the rip off the tuxedo thing, and he wears pants and long shorts now. She's like, I want the underwear.
See, I don't like the underwear look.
Well, maybe you have different priorities than Mrs. Money.
I don't. I want to see Schlong, but this is just...
Well, you could just look in the mirror.
Exactly. But I always felt like the trunks always looked weird on like guys with like a lot of muscle.
Ryan, Mrs. Money does say she doesn't have time to make a Slim Jim costume, but that's amazing. I don't understand. Don't and or that shit, Mr. Money. I don't know what I and or'd. Put in the chat because I didn't mean to and or anything. But yeah, so maybe we'll get to see Tony Nese. Maybe. I keep telling her to shoot her shot and send a message on the fitness app like, hey it's gonna be Friday night, but she doesn't want to do it because she did she said this legit got me. She said Nese and or Josh Woods don't or that shit.
Man, that is harsh to Josh Woods.
But she took her shot when we went to Flushing, and she sent a message something like, "We'll be rooting for you at Flushing," and there was crickets. So I don't think, whatever. But he knows what he's
Listen.
doing, right? He knows what he's doing because of this. I'll tell you this much. In the fitness app, which, by the way, I'll plug it, 450 Fit. It's a good program. Eating the meals, following the plan. Today was leg day. Usually I don't work out on Wednesdays because of this shit, but I went today because of my weekend trip. So leg day today. I'm going at 6 a.m. tomorrow to do shoulder day. I'm getting my pump on.
Love this for you.
So is Tony Nese, but that's a different story.
Whoa. He told me I'm specifically not getting a pump, but I'm like, oh, I'm getting a pump. I'm pumping for sure. Pumping something. But yeah, he knows what he's doing. The logo in the app is his like t-shirt logo from like his cartoony face. So he knows what he's doing. You mentioned wrestling stuff, he knows what you're watching. Come on, Tony Nese. We know it. You know it. Just give it to us.
Give it to me. Give me that funk.
No. Don't give it to us. Never mind. Don't give it to us.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it to yourself.
Give it
Never
to Gina.
Anyway, no, Schlong. Jesus, no, don't. Anyway. So yeah, be watching Rampage Friday. You should catch us on the tube. And guys, I am sad to say, I booked this in advance without thinking about it. I will not be on our last show of the year. I bought tickets to something on December 28th. So I won't be here for that.
How unprofessional of this highly professional podcast.
I see Killswitch, Engage, and Unearth on the same bill, and I'm buying tickets, not looking at the calendar.
Look, we don't not pay you to
It's true.
to be taking off, enjoying yourself, doing something else.
When have any of us ever taken off? And except for
I am here
a few times, Kate every other week, and Matt every week.
No. Matt's serving a suspension, so that's different.
It's
We're
true.
not going to talk about
before he got
that.
suspended, he was still a little sparse. He was on a part-time deal to begin with.
Well, he had so many different jobs he was trying. He was a lumberjack for a while, remember?
I heard he was a park ranger for a while.
Park ranger, that's right. There were so many
Stuck
things.
in Canada.
Hijinks, if you will, that Matt got into.
God damn it! I wish I was a good video, could draw. I would draw Matt's hijinks.
Just hijinks all over the place for Matt Bowman. So yeah, be watching Friday night. So let's talk a little bit about Rampage. It's 43 minutes in. We should probably talk about wrestling at some point.
I guess. I talk about wrestling all the time. Let's just keep talking
Schlong
about
saying no.
People don't want to hear my opinion on wrestling. Apparently, if you like things, nobody likes that.
It was so great.
Oh, hold on. I'll make Kate feel at home. This all sucked. Fuck this. I'm done with this.
Oh, I felt so at home watching this match. Everyone was perfect.
You guys good?
That was it.
Was that out
That's
of
the
our
show.
system?
Hold on.
All
I'll
right.
entertain myself for 3
I just
hours.
wanna
I'll
make
make some
sure.
pictures of brooms.
I'm funny. People think I'm adorable.
Adorable might be a stretch.
I'm adorable.
Okay.
Damn it.
When you put it like that, I guess so. So guys, Friday night Rampage. We kicked off with the Acclaim versus the Varsity Athletes. Now, to those who don't know, that's Coach Nese and Josh Woods versus the Acclaimed. I was solely rooting for the Varsity Athletes for no reason. I just really thought this was their time. Apparently it wasn't. The Acclaim defeated the Varsity Athletes. They retained the World Tag Team titles. They did win the Scissor Me trademark back from Mark Sterling. So they have that going on.
Title
also,
versus trademark, baby.
That's right. Also, Daddy Ass got ejected from ringside. Crowd was chanting bullshit. But yeah. So I don't know. We had the Acclaimed come through. I mean, geez, every time that team shows themselves, the pops are just gigantic. Oh, we're scissoring
Crazy.
ourselves now. I didn't know that you guys could actually do
Scissoring
that.
softly with his hands, scissoring softly. I can't do it, Kate. I'm all fucked up.
It's really tricky on this StreamYard.
Scissoring softly.
I mean, 2 weeks ago I said cum gutters. I think this is fine.
My whole life is world.
You did say cum gutters 2 weeks ago.
I
And it
did
really took
say
me by
cum gutters
surprise.
2 weeks ago.
Jeez.
Wait,
You're
who had
still
cum
saying-
gutters?
Nobody. I
Do
said
you know
I
what
need
they
the,
are?
I need the V.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the V down below.
I had never heard that term before. And then I think I even mentioned it
it's-
the next day to Mrs. Money because I don't think she stayed awake that night. I think she was exhausted. And she's like, "You never heard that?" I'm like, "You have? Jesus."
What's weird is it's mostly used for guys, and I think it should be a term more applied to females.
I see it both ways. I'm not going to lie, Schlong.
Yeah,
Everybody should have cum gutters.
I wish.
Do you
Cum
get
gutters
gutter?
for
Do you get gutter guards on your cum gutters?
Well, you guys already know how I feel about using protection on this
It's
podcast,
true.
according to you guys. So I
True.
guess
You
not.
don't. You don't.
I do too.
You.
I so do. Are you
Kate,
kidding? I'm
Congratulations
not
on the
fucking kid.
unprotected sex. Congratulations.
Oh, the type of sex Kate has can't have pregnancy.
Kate, you know what they call people who practice the pull-out method?
Parents.
Boom, she's got it. She's heard that one before.
My dad has said that about people that practice natural family planning. He's like, you know
Oh,
what they
so
call
silly.
them?
So silly.
You know what they call guys who practice the pull-out method?
What?
Liars.
Both answers work though. Kate, your answer is acceptable.
Thank you.
The judges would have accepted pussies. Because I don't know if anybody heard it but me, Kate. I heard you go,
I
pussies.
didn't, so I'm glad that you brought that back up.
Oh,
I
my
said it real
God.
aggressively.
Yeah, you did.
Shit.
Wow, we
So-
went places.
So the Acclaimed retain, and fun ensues with the trademark shit. Layla Gray of the Baddies replaced Penelope Ford, who was hurt in tonight's match with Willow Nightingale. That happens a little bit later. Let's see. Hook defeated Daivari to retain the FTW title. It was mentioned that Hook is undefeated at 12-0. None of his opponents have lasted more than 5 minutes. So maybe we're lining
Story of
up.
my life. What?
Oh, my goodness. Every week, Ryan, we get saucier and saucier Kate. This is why people tune in. Because they need to hear
episode
saucy Kate.
69 happened, and now we're just getting more perverted.
That
as
was
we
where
go
everything
on.
intersected. Now we're on the other side of the universe.
Exactly.
Oh boy. So Hook is 12-0. Guys, this is my moment of the night, if you ask me. Willow Nightingale defeats Layla Gray. And Shivani enters the ring and announces that Willow Nightingale is all elite. And she has the graphic. Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Not only did she get the graphic, not only is she all elite, she's one of the few where they've actually done that on TV.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that shows that they were saving it for that like special moment of like, yeah, we knew people wanted to see it, but we're making hers bigger than we make most people's like on TV.
For sure.
Very odd they didn't do it at Battle of the Belts still to me, but considering like 12
the
people
only thing
watched it,
Did it for a win.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, listen, all I know is that I don't care where they did it. They did it. That's the important thing, is that they did it. She's locked in. Now use her correctly. Let her start winning some matches. Use her in Ring of Honor. I don't give a shit. Just use her because she's good enough to be used. That came out wrong, but you know what I'm trying to
I
say.
was just gonna make another perverted joke, but you beat me to
I held
it.
back because Willow is an angel, but my argument is that there was rumors out there that Discovery wanted to do like more scripted stuff with AEW. give Willow a kids TV show.
Oh,
She's got
Yeah.
that positive, like, lovely energy. Like, she could be happy with the kids on the kids TV show and then go beat the shit out of someone in the ring. It works all around.
And she's still happy when she's doing it.
Exactly. She's perfect.
I'll
So it
one up
does it.
you. A kid show with Willow and Eddie Kingston.
Oh yeah, that would
Can
be.
you imagine Eddie Kingston reading
Kate
like a
wants-
kid's book?
A kid show with death involved, but that's okay. We'll figure that out.
It's not death. It's just lighting kids on fire with gasoline.
Actually, if you want to do a kid show, it's Willow and Danhausen.
Oh, that's. Kid love that Danhausen. Kids love that Danhausen.
They do, and he doesn't swear.
He doesn't. Anthony loves that Danhausen.
Does he really?
He does. He thinks he's hilarious.
He's right. Yeah,
I
smart
don't
kid.
disagree. So Willow gets Willow's all elite, and then Jade came out with the chair. Willow left the ring, and she's basically in the middle of the ring demanding Nyla Rose return her belt within 10 seconds. The count gets to 0, and then Nyla, Vicky, and Marina Shafir appear on the screen. They're in Jade's car with the TBS title. They drive off. So they now Grand Theft Auto, as well as Grand Larceny, right? They stole her title belt. So boy, these
But you're skipping over the best part.
what?
Nyla saying, Jade,
She did sing for non-blondes.
That
Which
was
fine.
of course is Ryan's favorite part. But also, how irresponsible
Keisha's
is
mad
the
because it's
valet?
non-blondes.
Well,
Irresponsible
you said,
valet.
I'll say this.
Valet.
That is it is irresponsible valet, Kate, but more so it gives it does give us another check in the box of don't ever find yourself in the parking lot
Mm-mm.
not the parking lot, because we've spent time in all elite wrestling parking lots and they're quite nice. The fans are great.
The
Everybody's
talent
having a
parking
good time.
lot.
That's right. Don't find yourself in a talent lot because you're going to get hit. Somebody's going to steal your car. You might get stuck under a garage door and then figure 4 leg locked. You never know.
So
Just-
I'm going to plug
Yeah.
the Wizards Discord because
Oh,
of this
boy.
very reason. No. So the Shining Wizards have a Discord. You should join. It's fun.
For now they do. Until we
For
buy
now.
it.
Until we buy it. But
Mhm.
Tony, old man Tony, posted a question, and it was like wrestling rules. And I put in there as a wrestling rule that parking lots are dangerous
I mean,
because
yeah.
in AEW and NXT, being in a parking lot is like death. So
Listen, it's like playing middle linebacker. Your head better be on a swivel at all times. Like just see what's going on in front of you at all times. And then, be aware of who's behind you because it's dangerous. But yes, Nyla has now stolen the vehicle and the title. So, boy, if the police ever catch up to her, she's facing quite a bit of time. That's all I know.
Quite the Nyla Rose rap sheet, as they
That's
say.
right. Let's see what else happened. Main event. We have the 3-way match for the All Atlantic title. Roosh, Preston Vance, and Orange Cassidy. And wouldn't you know, Orange Cassidy retains. He defeats Roosh in 10.
That match
after the
ruled.
yes, it did. After the match, Roosh had a stare down with 10. Brody Lee Jr. came out and 10 picks him up and walks off. Orange Cassidy celebrated in the ring. And then there was, to close the show, an in memoriam spot for Brian Muster. For anybody who maybe doesn't know, he was a lead video engineer who had died earlier in the week. He was called Mongo. I think they even said they had something up there that said "Thank you, Mongo." So the video is out there if you didn't see it. Yeah, he was 36. It was apparently very sudden, and he was the lead video engineer since the company opened, and was a company among the company's first hires. And he had worked in TNA from 2008 to 2018. And he left behind 2 small kids. So a sad note to go out on. But Kate, to your point, jumping backwards, you said that match ruled, and yes, it did.
Yeah,
Well, it had Orange Cassidy. Of course it ruled.
I mean, listen, honestly, all those guys in the ring are pretty awesome. Like, and they all have sort of a little different thing, right? So this could have been a match that went way off the rails in the wrong way because, you know, like Orange Cassidy, I don't know what you call his style, lackadaisical flippy do shit.
Sloth style.
What's that? Sloth style?
It's
Yes.
sloth style.
Yes. If I guess that's a true style, yes. Like the
It's
crane.
it's my preferred style in life.
Yeah, it's true. I've seen you in life.
Sloth style is the best.
It is slothy. And then Roosh, you know, has you know, like an athletic power style, right? So he can do some of that flippy do bullshit, but he's also very strong. And then 10 is, you know, like the powerhouse. So this match could have easily gone off the rails, but it worked.
Orange Cassidy is really good in situations like this. He's like really good in triple threats and really good in tag matches. I feel like of just ring awareness. I see you.
We're in sync, and we're just doing it. It's a video trick. If you're not watching us on video, you're missing the trick.
You are.
We weren't ignoring you, kid. Just, you know, we're children.
We were syncing up.
Are you done?
I'm sorry.
I was just.
Yes, I'm the professional. I should be ignoring that, not playing into Ryan.
No, I was just gonna say that Orange Cassidy's ring awareness, and because his style, well, it is sloth style or whatever, it is like fairly explosive. So he can kind of pick his spots and then really like turn it up to 100 quite easily. So I just feel like he's really good in these multi-man matches, which I appreciate. And as we know, any tag match in AEW is a multi-man match because they have incompetent referees. So true. There's your little Binghamton accent for you. Incompetent. But this match I thought it was really, really fun because all three of them are very different. And I also like this idea of Orange Cassidy. This is essentially an open challenge title right now, it feels like, based on the way that feuds are getting set up. Like, this isn't long-term stories, but because he's Orange Cassidy, he's just like, I have this belt. We're going to fight over it. And I think it's a really fun way as a character for him to essentially have an open challenge without being like, if anyone in the back wants to come down for this, he's just kind of like, no, I'm picking you, and I got this belt, and we're going to fight about it. I think it's really, really fun. So kudos to them for figuring out a really fun way for him to be champion.
And it's interesting, too, to see how his championship reign has sort of been very different than, oh my God. What's that? Pac, yes. Sorry. I thought you said Mox, and I was like, nope, not him.
I did too. I was like, wait, that's...
Also from him. I'd be very different from him, but not
sure. But it is, what I find interesting is how different it is than Pac, because Pac was defending it around, like, overseas in different promotions, and that's not really what OC does, right? So he's defending it, you know, here on home turf, you know, week, you know, over week right now. It seems like week over week. So it's fun because they can sort of do whatever they want to do with this title depending on who has it, right? Like if somebody's going to be working other promotions in other places, they can still defend that belt. If you're not, you can just have it on TV. Like that's totally fine. But yeah, I thought this Dynamite was fun. And it was a live episode, right? It was.
Yes, I think most of them are running live for like the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think you're right. This Friday in Connecticut is live, and then it's Atlantic City, and I think the Rampage before Full Gear is also going to be live from Newark. So yes, it is. That's a Friday night, duh. So yeah, a lot of them are live. I don't know. There's just something about them doing this live that I feel like this show's a little more fun. But we'll see.
The crowd's not fatigued, I think, is a big part of it, to be honest. Like, half the crowd goes home. The rest of them have been sitting through like 5 hours of wrestling already. I think it's helpful when it feels like its own event.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, Schlong, anything you want to touch on with Rampage. I just want to make sure. We just kind of ran through everything, but is there anything in particular you'd like to call out?
Well, we covered it. Willow getting signed is the highlight of Rampage. Orange Cassidy rules. That's the basic highlights.
Is that your Ryan Schlong ribbed for her pleasure pick of the week? Remember that?
Oh, I do. I wish we still had that. That we could use that music, but we can't because it's
No, we
copywritten.
can't. It is. No, what we'll have to do, Schlong. We'll have to have somebody just do a freemium version of those songs,
Mm-hmm.
and then
I agree.
We'll do it.
What if Ant played the saxophone live?
I wish I. Do you want to know the truth? I wish I knew how to play the saxophone just for some of those songs.
Understandable.
Just for.
What if
those
I just hummed it?
We're gonna get a copyright strike. You better knock that off.
That's why I stopped quickly.
Yeah, what's the rule? 7 seconds?
I think so.
Something like
7, 12.
You were at 6. That was very close, Schlong. Very close.
I got you.
Look at him, Kate, with his hat to the side, thinking like he's some hot shit.
I am hot shit.
It's annoying. Kate's not even talking. She's just very annoyed.
I was looking to see what Ryan was going to do.
Greatly offended.
No, you're fine. You're not offended. You said to me the other day, I'm never offended.
It's truly very hard to offend me.
Oh, that's funny because you're a cunt.
The laugh afterward is the best part of that.
I'm here to pop myself.
She's trying to be mean. I like how you were like trying to be serious, sort of mean, like heel mean, and then all of a sudden you just laugh. And it's
That's me
totally
being
gone.
aggressive. Was that sad?
Oof, so aggressive. All right. Well, we've talked through Rampage. We had quite an episode of Dynamite tonight, so why don't we take a little break because we've been going for an hour. Schlong doesn't want to take a break. Some of us might have to take a drink, have a smoke, maybe a pancake, have a smoke and a pancake,
Smoking a schlong and a pancake.
a bong and a blint,
I'm gonna go take a schwitz.
cigarette and a flapjack. God. To think that movie's probably like, it's got to be like 20 years old at this point, right?
Yeah.
Just under, yeah.
Gold member. Oof.
I think it's I think it's just under 20 at this point.
And here's the crazy thing. I still want them to make a fourth one that they'll never make.
They can't at this point. The age is just
But that could be a funny
old
part
man
of it.
Austin Powers.
Yeah, an aging like
Dun, dun,
60s
dun.
swinger. It can't be worse than his fucking that Netflix show he did was. The Pentaverate. Ugh, that was terrible.
Eek.
It was bad. Also, because I commuted yesterday, I didn't realize like a month ago when I heard when we saw Rob Zombie that movie was coming out on Netflix. For some reason, I thought that The Munsters was going to be a theater release. Like, I wasn't going to take the baby to see it anyway, but there just was no indication that it was going to be on streamers. And then I saw it on Netflix.
Did you watch it?
I did. Yeah, that's
And?
no, just what Ryan did. That's my reaction.
Listen, I make a lot. I give a lot of leeway to a holiday movie, and Halloween counts, or a like based off an old property, and it's still just.
Did you watch it, Ryan?
Oh God, yeah.
Ryan, like we can do an hour and a half podcast on that movie alone because I don't understand half of what.
Kate, it was a prequel, first of all.
Yeah.
Rarely done well.
But Ryan, like what did they spend money on? Because there was no like everything was like
cheap
like
effects,
cheap set, cheap effect, and they didn't spend it on a cast because it was all Rob Zombie's people.
The best way I heard described was it was a porn without the sex.
And you're not wrong.
Like the acting, the set, like everything. And you truthfully, if like the movie made no sense. I couldn't figure out what time period it was supposed to take place in.
And that's fine. I sort of give like with the Brady Bunch movie, you know, like you can tell it's like in modern times, but they're not down with the modern stuff.
My problem was that, like, I'm okay with that, but it seemed like the entire world existed, like that there was like part of the world existed in this time period, but part of it didn't.
You want to know the things that annoy me, Ryan?
The acting,
Kate, well, yeah, but Kate, there was part of the movie where, as Ryan said, it's a prequel, so you see how they meet and then they get married, right? So, so they go to Paris on their honeymoon. Ryan, here's the part that annoyed me. When they're walking through whatever cafe and the people get scared and run off, there's a lady there, Kate, at a French cafe. This lady's eating a bowl of pasta.
No.
Right.
No to
You're
all
in
of that.
France. Why are you eating a giant bowl of
You'd be
pasta?
eating a croissant and
Or
nothing else.
an escargot, or
An escargot.
a piece of baguette while drinking black coffee and smoking unfiltered cigarettes. Like, come on.
Of course. Just rude.
But anyway, it was terrible. I don't know how we got there, but we're gonna take a break. So we can play, we're part of, for now, we're part of the Shining Wizards Network. I'm doing it, Ryan. I don't care. We're part of the Shining Wizards Network, and there are some other shows that are on it. Kate, I know you're aware of this.
Yeah, we talk about it every week.
Okay, just making sure. Boy.
Duh.
Boy.
What, am I some sort of idiot?
Sometimes
Every
I
week
wonder.
we do. Every week we do this.
We
Why
do?
would I not know that?
We do? I do it every week. Well, we're doing it again this week, Schlong. Ha ha. The other guy does live reads, not me, and he's suspended. So
That's right.
Why don't you kids strap in, sit back for a few minutes, and listen to some of the other shows that we like, some of these shows that we wish would die a fiery death, and we'll be back in a couple minutes to talk about Dynamite here on the Mark Order Podcast.
Everyone knows a lot of things can change in the span of 10 years. But when it comes to professional wrestling podcasting, one thing is still guaranteed. The Shining Wizards is the only place to get all the latest wrestling news, interviews with the greatest guests, and of course, tons of laughs in discussing the world of wrestling. The show is still available on Monday nights at 7 p.m. East on rantemradio.com and Rant Entertainment Media on the TuneIn app. And it's still available on all podcasting platforms. To check us out, head over to shiningwizards.com, where it's still wrestling talk and talk about wrestling.
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
Horns up, everyone. When on the Shining Wizards Network, be sure every Friday to check out Radioactive Metal. Radioactive Metal is one of the longest running podcasts on the interweb. And every week we bring you a fist full of metal, including interviews with all your favorite artists, discuss all the metal news, and feature the best tunes on the air today. So grab a Lemmy, join your cool Uncle Snowy, and co-host Aaron in the pit.
Your recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment broadcasting from the current to the way back. Join the impact player Phil Rea and the Portuguese man of war Choppy for the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast. Live every week on rantemradio.com. Get all our episodes over at iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Audio Boom, Google Play, ShiningWizardsNetwork.com, and TurnbuckleThrowbacks.com.
Are you tired of being told what to think and believe by Hollywood elites and politicians who just don't care about you?
Tired of not getting the truth when you watch the news?
Tired of trying to figure out what pronoun to use?
Tired of mob mentality when all you want to do is think for yourself and make up your own mind?
That's where we come in. This is Justin
And Vince.
your host of Inconclusive Breakdown.
We are a weekly anti-PC podcast bringing you entertainment and current event news without any spin.
If you want to truly stay informed on what's going on in the world, then give us a listen every Sunday, anywhere you get podcasts, at least till Zuckerberg and Twitter Jack deplatform us.
And as always, we're proud members of the Shining Wizards Network.
Tired of the PC police telling you what you can and cannot say? Want a show that travels back to the 80s and 90s, where the badass hosts have beaten down cancel culture on 3 separate occasions and carried on to gloat about it? Since 2013, The Midnight Jury is that show. Travel back to the malls and arcades, pop in your VHS, and join us where the 80s and 90s return from the dead. Conan, tell them where to find us.
WLWstudios.com, home of the Midnight Jury podcast, hosted by Midnight Mike and Calvin Brody.
Also available on all major podcast platforms via the Shining Wizards Network, and join in the conversation on Twitter at Midnight Jury.
What's up, wrestling fans? You want something awesome? Check out Wrestling Night in Canada here on the Shining Wizards Network. We're 3 Canadian metalheads uniting for the love of pro wrestling. Every episode we go over all the latest news and special events with the odd unique interview as well. So grab a cold one and check out Wrestling Night in Canada, eh?
We are back here on the Mark Order podcast. We should try seeing if people want to sponsor something, and we can play that during the commercial break for some of those shows that we want to die a fiery death.
I agree.
That would mean we actually have to put something together, and that's not going to happen.
I agree.
We could just skip it. We could just be like, hey, here's the other shows that are on here.
I'll do a live read.
You want to do live reads? I'm not doing live reads.
I mean, I won't mention any of the shows, but I'll do my live read.
No, then we don't want that to happen. I did one set of live reads, and then I had people jumping in who are suspended, dropping F-bombs, and then we wonder why we're not sponsored.
I mean, listen, if we had an actual sponsor, I would do a real good live read. But if we have what we have, I'll do my live read, which is everybody.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, let's just talk about Dynamite.
I do want to say this before we jump into Dynamite, that you should be following us at Mark Order.
You'll die.
What?
Not if it isn't lit. Not if you didn't light the fuse.
That's right. You've actually got to light the fuse. Yeah, Asian Joe says, can I pay $5 for each show for you to skip that commercials? Yeah, if you want to give us money to skip commercials, we will gladly accept that payment.
I wish I could start that service.
I mean, we have the ability through some
Mark
of our
Order
services
Plus
to do that. You should be following us though on our socials at Mark Order Pod.
Yeah, idiots. Follow us.
Kate said she'll berate you for $5 a month. She will berate you, and I think she said she'll also rate pictures and talk about. Is that right, Kate? You'll do.
Look. I mean, I've gotten some of them anyway, so I might as well start making money off of it.
Kate, we've talked about your OnlyFans for a while, and you are leaving money on the table because you don't even have to do anything,
spicy.
Right, the chili pepper emoji. I'm hip to that. You don't have to do any of that, but you can certainly rate people's photos, and they really just want you to talk shit to them. That's all they want.
Well, maybe some things, not that, but maybe there's some things around.
I love that she started to freeze right as she got
there.
to that.
And now she just comes back and she's
With
drinking
good
water.
reason.
Jesus. No, you froze up, Kate.
guess.
We didn't hear any of that. It's okay.
Oh, I got some alarming pictures in my DMs. That's why I froze.
Oh, of course. Who doesn't? But follow us on our
Sorry about
social.
those.
Follow us on our social at Mark Order Pod. Everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Whatever. If you go to any of our socials, you can hit the link tree in our bio, and you can find all of our socials. But more importantly, you can request free stickers from the Mark Order Podcast, and that helps show your support for what we do, which is dick jokes, cum gutters, talk, baseball, anything but wrestling, really. Specifically AEW wrestling, but
free stickers with $9.99 shipping because they're extremely
No.
heavy and we have to charge you.
no.
Plus,
We
there's
do need a
Matt
credit card on
Porter's.
file.
No. Let's clear the deck. There's no charge, no handling, no shipping fee. All you have to do as a listener, go to that link tree, click the button that says request free stickers. Give us your name, give me your full mailing address, and then give us the country that you live in so I can assure that I am putting the exact postage it needs to get to you out of my own pocket so that you can get a couple of these really nice stickers and maybe a little letter saying thanks for the support. Just do it. It doesn't cost you anything but a couple minutes. What's your time?
But if you want to give me money, I will take it.
When did I put
think I'm leaving money on the table? You should be charging a handling fee. You know what I mean?
When
you're
did
gonna
I put?
You're gonna handle some stuff. You should be
I
charging
handle
a
a
fee
lot.
for that by the
don't.
hour, my friend.
If you gotta ask what a ZJ is, you can't afford it. I will say this, Schlong, I think you and I were on one night. I don't think Kate was here. Didn't I put a deadline for merch on myself, didn't I?
You did.
When was it?
A while ago.
I
Black
passed
Friday.
the deadline?
You 100% passed the
Did
deadline.
I say Black Friday?
You said Black Friday one time when I was on the stream.
I think that's the okay. So let's be fair here. I think that's like the third deadline you've set for yourself.
Okay, so I'm marking it here now. In November, I have off every Friday that's not a holiday. I'm going to really buckle down on one of those Fridays and try to get that done.
We're gonna make it happen, and I'm gonna get the website
Mark it down. 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 30 seconds.
As soon as those two things get done, my nudes are going on the site.
Nudes, Jesus. Then it's really behind a paywall. Then we're really OnlyFans.
No, we have to pay people.
Oh, we have to pay people to look at them? No,
I thought
we're
that's
not.
what I
Sorry
was
that you had
supposed
to
to be doing.
We're sorry you had to see that Ryan in that pose.
Yeah,
Here
please
you
accept
go.
$1. Anyway, stay tuned. We'll have some updates for you in the coming weeks because Black Friday is coming, and I've really got to get going here for holidays and whatnot. You know what I mean? Christmas,
Know what I mean, Vern?
Hanukkah. We missed Diwali. We missed the big Diwali holiday. So we missed all that Diwali money. I'm sorry. Thanks a lot, because Asian Joe just said now he rescinds his sponsorship offer. There
we
goes
don't know that's
good money.
because I'm going to be nude. I'm assuming it is, but we don't know for sure.
Having met Asian Joe live and in color is absolutely because you said the nudes. Kate agrees. She's nodding.
You
It's
wouldn't
an
know
argument.
because you bailed, Ryan.
I didn't bail.
Oh, you bailed.
You bailed.
I didn't bail.
You're a bailer. Bailer, I hardly knew her. Only in the rarest of circumstances am I to touch the bailer. No, you are not. She can use the bailer. You may not. Anyway, let's talk about Dynamite, because tonight we're back on Wednesdays, and it felt right, and I thought it was a pretty good show. So why don't we jump right in? The first match they gave us tonight was the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta versus the Jericho Appreciation Society. That was Chris Jericho and the Red Death, Daniel Garcia. I'm going to say this right off the top. Jake Hager's fashion tonight was, it was elite level. Not the elite, just elite level. It was pretty good. The purple hat, it was great. So you got to at least give Jake Hager that, because he's got no personality, but tonight it all came out.
That's true.
Cutting to the end of this match, the Blackpool Combat Club wins by pinfall, the Gotch neutralizer from Claudio on Chris Jericho. Jericho taking the pin in this match. There were some shenanigans early on, or not early on, I'm sorry. Towards the end of this match, Jericho tried to use the baseball bat, Floyd, but Claudio was able to stop him, powerbomb him, get set up for the giant swing. Garcia runs in. We get the dual, swing where Claudio carries Garcia on his shoulders and swings Jericho, and then they get the win. So, guys, I was a little shocked that Jericho actually took the pin, but I think it protects Garcia because he's been on an upswing, right? So Jericho can afford to take the pin, but also believe we're lining something up here for the Ring of Honor Final Battle pay-per-view coming, because Claudio lost his title against Jericho. Maybe we're lining up a rematch. Maybe. We'll see. But I thought this was a very entertaining match. And I guess, like, what else would you expect? It's four guys who know exactly what they're doing in the ring at all times. So yeah, I mean, I really like this, and it was a nice opener. Kate, what did you think of this?
The in-ring was fantastic. Claudio is ridiculous. Like, that double swing spot is just bananas. I don't really like pinning champions. It's a little bit not as bad here because Claudio even the score, as you kind of alluded to, and it was an impetus for Jericho to later in the show in the promo right after this, essentially. It seemed like that pissed him off, so he was issuing an open challenge against any former Ring of Honor champion. So it at least was justified. I just hate pinning champions on television. They don't do it a ton in AEW, so I don't have as big of a problem with it. In-ring was great. Move the fuck on, though. I am so sick of the combination of Blackpool Combat Club members versus Jericho Appreciation Society members. Anybody else facing either one of these groups would be great. However, the in-ring was fantastic. I'm just so over the story, but excellent things happen between the ropes. I'm intrigued because we're clearly zeroing in on something with ROH here, right? Like something's up. So that's to me a very encouraging sign. I don't think it is, but I wish it was going to be Jonathan Gresham who would be the one to answer the open call. I think that would be so much fun, but we'll see. Could be Claudio, could be Danielson again, could be Jay Lethal, could be people we're not thinking about, could be Nigel McGuinness for all we know. So I think it's a wealth of really fun possibilities. I'm just so sick of this combination of fellas facing each other, but excellent in ring and a fun way to kick off Dynamite. I love when they start with high energy tag matches.
And I think that maybe we are moving on with some of this because we'll get into, clearly some other matches that included both of these, groups coming up. I don't know what Schlong is doing, but I definitely want your opinion. I don't know why you're doing like the
I feel like I can part my hair down the middle, and I really can't. It's annoying.
It's
you
so
look
weird
like Mo
seeing you
from the
without
Three
a hat.
Stooges. Yeah,
I was just going for a look for Halloween. We definitely feel like we're moving on based on the post-match stuff. This feels like it was kind of not the finale because obviously they'll compete again, but it feels like those stories have wrapped up. I think. Listen, I mean, I can't say anything more about the match than you guys have already said. I don't know why people are so on the spin with the guy on your shoulders. Like, it's hard to carry two people around. Come on, people. Like, let's set the bar a little higher. No, I mean, Jesus Christ. And Yuta was way over with this crowd, so that was fun. So
it's his birthday today. They should be. Happy birthday, Yuta Wheeler.
That's right.
Yuta Wheeler?
Big birthday.
Wheeler Yuta.
I like Yuta Wheeler better. I think it works.
She just adds commas in her conversations now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was looking it up in the phone book.
A phone book?
A phone book.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm old school. I was looking it up in the yellow pages.
Oh my gosh, totally analog. So a really fun match to open the night, and then backstage, Renee Paquette is interviewing Bryan Danielson. He says if he's got to be honest, he's frustrated because he lost to Jericho because Garcia turned his back on him, and that Wheeler Yuta talked back to him last week. He knows a lot of people hate Sammy Guevara, but he has no problem with him besides his smug face and his stupid blog, and he's going to take all of his frustrations out on him. And that's when Yuta rolls up and says that he's glad Bryan's finally angry because he and Claudio beat Jericho and Garcia. And that's when Castagnoli rolls up because they're starting to get at each other. And he says to, be quiet, and he's trying to keep the peace. And he said it's a great day because he beat the Ring of Honor World Champion, and Danielson's going to kick ass, and it's also Wheeler's birthday. And he knows Danielson is going to beat Guevara, and then they're going to sit down and talk it out like adults. So, again, we're alluding to sort of the fact that there's another match coming tonight, right? We knew about that. It involves both of these factions, so maybe we're moving on. But I like the way this played out. It's also kind of, we're not sure what's going on with the Blackpool Combat Club, right? They seem a little fractured right now.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I'm like, if they break up the Blackpool Combat Club before they break up a Jericho stable again, like it seems a little silly, but nice to hear AEW locker room talking things out like adults. That hasn't been the way things have gone lately. So that's
that
nice.
Wasn't a theme tonight at all.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of that. I will say Renee Paquette coming in, it seems like everybody is automatically a little bit more comfortable with her, and not just the people that have worked with her before, but people feel like they can take a little bit more leniency. I don't know if it's just because she's so experienced and great at this or what, but like we saw Eddie Kingston do it later, and people kind of like pushing the mic out of her hand and moving her aside. Like there seems to be something very disarming for talent in her approach. So it just pays dividends to see her in the role that she's in, because these segments just have a little bit cleaner of a flow with her in them, I think. But I'm excited to see where this goes for the Blackpool Combat Club. I feel like they'll probably stay together in some way, shape, or form, but like Mox is champion doing his own thing and is due for a vacation. Danielson should be, there's like 17 titles in AEW. The fact that he doesn't have one is downright silly. Wheeler's over, so you might not need to do this anymore. And Claudio's, he was over from the second he came in, and he's over now. So they don't need to keep it together. I would prefer they did, because it's like my favorite thing, and I love William Regal and the role that he's in. So we'll see what happens. I'm glad we're moving on from this story. It does feel weird that Garcia is still a part of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Like the fact that we didn't get that payoff is still weird to me. But
yeah. Schlong, anything you want to add about this backstage segment?
I like that they used one storyline to instantly go into the next very naturally. I don't think this is the end of the BCC. I think this is just a good story for them. I think it'll help get Yuta's over, but I think it brings him up a notch. And I think this is like I think they're kind of using this as like the reigniting Danielson as like a killer type situation, because they had him take some losses. They almost, even though you don't need to, I think they're trying to be like, and he's back. Like he's more intense. And then that might be where they go with the ROH title, is Danielson being like, the first time around I wasn't there, but I see what Yuta's right. Like now I see what's going on. So I'm and actually helped Claudio out too, because he got to seem like a leader for a second, to be like, hey, what the hell are we doing? Like both these guys stopped and listened to him. So I think this is one of those things where it's helping everyone involved. Renee is awesome. Tony, I still think Tony, like to me, it's Renee and Tony should be your backstage people. Marvez is fine for like a quick like what is going on. I don't mind Marvez, but if you're these extended ones, people tend to interact with Tony and Renee way better. Like they just, like Kate said, there's like a flow there.
What
Tony
about
gets
poor
the insult.
Dasha? You're just leaving her out in the wind?
Oh, you know what? You're right. They actually have a lot of backstage talent. You kind of, everyone has a little bit of different.
And who's William Morrissey's girlfriend? What's her name?
Lexi Nair.
Lexi Nair. Yep.
You know what? Over the court, but they are going to have ROH, so you're probably going to see like Lexi probably go that route.
Right.
I wouldn't get rid of Dasha off of AEW. I think she does a good job there. I forgot about her, but she's not bad, and they'll figure it out. But I think Renee does the good thing of giving faces when she's talking to people. She reacts, and I like that. So yeah, I'm good because this seems to be building for everyone.
Well, we'll see what goes on later in the night with Danielson. Guys, maybe honestly one of my favorite video packages we've gotten in a long time. After this, they go to a package, and it's Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. And they're playing, voiceovers of them talking about building All Elite Wrestling. And as they're kind of talking, all of a sudden they're starting to dissolve out of sort of the AEW history. In some cases, it's just like at first it's just the logos on the phones, right? They're holding phones and it's dissolving off the phones. Then it's at the press conference that they had to announce All Elite Wrestling, the Bucks get erased. And my favorite thing is during parts of this, when they're going to say the Elite, they dissolve right before they get to say the Elite. Then it's, Kenny winning his title, getting dissolved, winning the trios titles, getting dissolved. Then eventually they actually show the AEW logo and Elite from the top where it says All Elite. Elite is dissolved, the E dissolves, and then the whole logo dissolves. And as Schlong snapped into the camera here, it is very much like Thanos snapping his fingers. And that's it. They go to break. No more is said about it. Now, obviously, I think everybody is up to date on sort of what's going on with, the Bucks and Kenny. Basically, we know about the all-out sort of brawl. The rumors are that the investigation is wrapping up. Ace Steel was fired last week. That's part of the maybe evidence that the investigation's wrapping up or has wrapped. Fight Club reported that the Elite are returning to AEW and that sources believe that, they're working on backstage. They could be working in backstage rules soon with their return sort of being imminent. We haven't seen
backstage.
What's that?
They were actually backstage,
but their return to the ring.
No, I know, but just
right.
Even to be around is such a huge step to be like, hey,
sure. And then of course this video package airs tonight. So, guys, I texted you guys because I love this so much. I was just like, this is one of the cooler things I think they've done in a while. To me, it's super tongue in cheek. And I think it's something that everybody's wondering, like, what the hell's going on? And they're clearly playing into that, right? And when they return in the ring in some capacity, even if they just come out and speak, it's going to be big. So, I don't know. Whatever you guys want to add about this video package, I loved it. I thought it was perfect.
I think it was really cool. I think it was a good balance of acknowledging kind of what they could acknowledge without telling or giving away too much. And they probably can't even talk about too much. The news about Larry broke obviously right before this went on. So
we're going to talk about that in news and notes.
Justice for Larry. The only person I care about in this situation is Larry.
Not a person.
Dogs are people.
It's not true.
No, they're not. They're dogs.
Yeah. No, they're people.
It's a different species.
You're right. They're above people. So they're better than people. They're significantly better than human beings. Whatever anybody is like, that person's a dog. You're actually complimenting them because humans are terrible and dogs are great. But I really liked this a lot. And I think like Full Gear's around the corner. I think you have them come back before that so you can build a story to it, probably in the trios title. But like, it's just encouraging to see. Like, it's nice to be able to move on from what it sounds like they're buying Punk out, whether he comes back when he's not, whatever. Like, it's just nice to have the black cloud of the investigation cleared here so that we can move the fuck on from all the drama. I got real sick of it. So it's nice to hear. And they're three of the best wrestlers in the world. I want them on my screen again, putting on awesome matches. So the good news is, Kenny came back from injury. Should be even more rested, which I think is good. And I think this vignette will probably get used because news broke that they're doing that documentary. I'm sure this is going to be like a chapter in whatever documentary that is. I'm sure this was like so artfully done that I'm sure they'll be like, they probably won't do a brawl out segment or whatever, but they'll probably be like, we were suspended, put this little thing in there. So I think it's good. I really liked it. I'm intrigued to see what is next.
Schlong.
Dogs aren't people. No, but realistically, you have first of all, they couldn't just come back and not acknowledge that they weren't around. You can't do that. People would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Second of all, it actually kind of leads me to the way that they're probably going to come back, which is if you the flow of the I don't know what we call it, the video package was they eliminate the Elite. And then there goes AEW, which is basically to say you can't have AEW without the Elite. I have a feeling that's going to be their message coming back is they tried to take us out. They tried to not mention us. They tried to erase us, but you can't because we are this company. I have a feeling that's the route they're going to go for it. We'll talk more about the rest of it because I have theories there too, just out of boredom. My mind was racing. But this is going to be a lot of fun. Them versus Death Triangle should be a good old time. I think that's why you're starting to see Death Triangle show some, animosity towards each other because they're going to lose and the Elite will get their belts back. And it's fun that whole situation sucks so much because it took, one would have been gone because of injury anyway, but realistically, it's taken 4 good wrestlers off the TV that we all want to see. The Elite, the tree. I was so excited for the Elite as trios tag champs. I mean, that was made for them. They're Kenny Omega's one of the best in the world. You can rank them where you want. Young Bucks. He
also just got back. Like he just returned.
And he looked good in his return.
Yeah. So I think that, like I said, they're probably going to come back with a "you can't get rid of us" type deal, and they're going to have to be tongue in cheek about it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just excited for it, but I'm also curious to see how far they go with the shots at the situation.
Well,
which I think will tell a lot about the settlement.
True. But there is one thing we know is that Tony Khan will allow them to work real life situations into what they're doing. So I think they'll push the envelope as much as they can without, any legal battles that may be going on, without that jeopardizing, sort of any legal battles. But there is an important question that did come into the chat from what I will only assume is super heel, because his name is Matthew Plus. Instead of the Elite, can Thanos dissolve Kate out of existence? Usually that is a question I would ask, but you've been okay tonight, Kate.
Matthew Plus is Kate's enemy.
If I was logged in, I would time him out.
Would you?
Yeah, of course.
You want me to time him out? I'll do it right now.
Please do.
Aunt, she's lying. She's lying, Aunt. You know how I know she's lying, Aunt?
Why? Because she didn't lie.
Because I watch her Tuesday show where he's in there, and she doesn't time him out ever.
Yeah, because he pays money on Tuesdays.
Oh, so it's all about the money. Ryan Schlong, this sounds a lot like, like you talk to, maybe ladies who dance for a living,
I'm sorry, is your handle AntMoney? Is there also a Millionaire Matt on the show? That's sexist. You are getting at me for chasing my bag.
That's the problem. I don't chase a bag, Kate. I just get that bag. I don't have to chase it. I get that.
All right. Well, you're gonna lose your wife to Tony Nese. So.
Whoa. Let's calm down. I won't lose my wife to Tony Nese. We'll be serious.
Okay. Sure.
Kate, you want to time out?
Yeah, just for fun though.
Okay.
Especially because he came back with a "you can't time me out." So
Yeah,
Ann had to
you fucking Kanye'd yourself, pal. They can't drop me even if I say. Never mind.
Yeah, don't just. That'll get cut.
I mean, I
Do
could
not eat
drop
that.
you out of this feed.
I'll go to bed early.
Yeah, but we don't accidentally. Don't Kanye yourself by accident.
No. I've heard some of the things you say off air, Kate, and they're controversial at best.
Wow.
On air,
I'm saying
Kate ranks dogs last.
Oh my god. So guys, they go to commercial after this vignette or this video package, and it's Tony Schiavone interviewing the Jericho Appreciation Society, and Jericho was very upset.
Entertainers.
You sure he was interviewing them? Because I could barely hear shit.
Well, I was gonna get there, but thank you. So they are. I'm sorry, Kate. You're right. He was interviewing the Jericho Appreciation Society. They are sports entertainers. And Jericho was very upset Claudio won with the baseball bat in the ring because whether or not Jericho brought it into the ring, he cheated. Claudio won with the bat in the ring. He cheated. So now they're fired up and all bets are off. And Y2J, that's right, I called him Y2J, gave an open challenge to any former Ring of Honor champion to fight him next week. And he did say, he's like, I don't care if you're a man, woman, women's champion, men's champion, tag team, whatever. You want to fight me next week, we'll fight. So it's an open challenge to anybody. So that was the other thing I want to ask you guys. So first of all, Ryan is right. Their microphone was not fucking working. So half of this wasn't really heard. But guys, any thoughts as to if it's not a world champion or like maybe a pure champion, a TV champion, do we see anybody from the tag division maybe stepping up and saying, hey, I'll be your Huckleberry? And
there's a lot of options out there. You have some already in the company. I mean, you have Taven.
Mm-hmm. Well, Taven is fighting Friday night, so I would guess.
Well, is the match Friday? I thought the match was Wednesday.
The Jericho match is Wednesday, but I don't know if Taven would fight Friday and then Monday, especially if he loses Friday.
I mean, maybe, but okay, so no Taven, but still, you have Woods.
Now, who's that? Josh Woods, yeah. Now, what do you think? Do we see? Is it possible to see one of the Briscoe boys come and do a singles match?
No,
it's wrestling in 2022. Anything is possible, but
it's like Kevin Garnett said, anything is possible.
Now, Asian Joe is saying commentary said world champion later in the promo read.
Yeah, but Jericho did say
women's champ, tag champ.
Yeah, he said he'll face anybody.
That popped me. Women's champ popped me.
If it was a woman.
I was thinking Gordon Post's suggestion there and
Too big of a match to make random, I think, like that.
Plus, they're lining up. Plus, they are lining up Mike Kanellis, I guess, and Samoa Joe.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like it's going to be someone that's not on screen already, but like, who would that person be? You already did Dalton Castle. Jay Lethal would be. I don't know if you've seen Chris Hero lately, but he's not looking great.
The problem is, like, the names on the free agent side of things, I don't think any of them are big enough that I think the realistic free agent side of things, I should say, that any of them are big enough that I think would step in and be like, unless there is one name that's huge.
Who? I'm sorry, say again.
Adam Cole. Baby. I mean, no one knows his health updates. You can't say we've heard that he's going to be out for a while because the whole thing has been no one knows. he is a former champ. That match would be fucking awesome. I mean, he'd have to take the loss, which is the only issue I have with that. Or Jericho, I guess, theoretically could lose, and they could be doing a Jericho losing thing, but doesn't make sense because he has a belt. But either way, that is
Bandito yet?
Yes.
He did face Bandito.
And then Bandito was signed and then not signed.
Did he face Roosh?
I don't think he did. But he did face Bandito. Now, Gordon Post is saying Jay Briscoe is a former Ring of Honor world champ. Which is true.
It could be. They would have had to have done some work with some Warner execs on that, though, because they did not want the Briscoes on TV. Kyle O'Reilly has had neck fusion surgery, so it's going to be a while before he's back. But, I mean, honestly, the person that would make the most sense in this situation is probably Jay Lethal, but I don't think you can do that with the type of heel Lethal is right now. And
well,
I also don't think you make that a surprise.
You guys were both talking at the same time.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. I just didn't hear either of you. I got a net
Schlong,
zero.
you go first.
You had a delay on my end, so I went to go to. I don't think you make Jay Lethal this type of surprise. Like he could be a surprise if you're not hyping it up, but they're hyping this up. Like to do a picture with a blank person usually means like it's going to be someone worth seeing.
You know who would be perfect? That's normally in the chat. That's not to have this discussion with is Kyle K. Sparks.
He was 100%. Here, and then I guess he left us. That motherfucker. I'm sorry.
My comment was simply, I believe Jay Lethal's match is next week against Darby Allin, so it wouldn't be Jay Lethal next week.
Oh, that's right. He has the Darby storyline going.
That's right, Darby. I'm looking somebody up now. How about I'm trying to see if he held a belt.
It's so hard because like they put Juventud Guerrero on television, so they could pull like a really deep cut. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
Who knows where this is gonna go? I wish it. My top choice in the world is of course Gresham, but I don't think that's who it is.
Let me see. Sorry, I'm still looking through this just to see if he was ever. Oh, yes, he was. Now, this would be a name that would have to be worked out because I believe he is under contract with another company right now. What about PCO?
I saw that get tossed out there.
PCO, if it came in the chat, I'm honestly not looking. PCO did beat Roosh to become the world champion. But now he's in Impact. Now we know that they've had a relationship with Impact. At one point, maybe PCO. Do you think people would pop for PCO?
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys that everybody kind of pops for.
I agree.
He's crazy enough that even if like the main people didn't know him, his gimmick is so weird that he's a good surprise because people will be like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, guys, it's Austin Aries.
Oh,
that'll be a short match.
Boom.
Ba-boom.
We have Davey Richards in the chat.
Davey Richards? Anybody? Davey Richards? Davey Richards?
I can see that.
Homicide is mentioned.
Christopher Daniels, also a possibility.
I don't know if that would be that great. Now, I will say this. You know the best part about this? We don't know. We have no idea.
It is really fun to have no idea because there's so many people in play, right? Like,
right.
That could be really fun.
PCO stole the Hitman's jacket. Could be PCO. Could be PCO.
Could be PCO.
Well, you'll have to tune in next week. And we'll see who it is. Chris Jericho versus somebody from Ring of Honor for the championship. Next up, they gave us FTR versus Swerve in Our Glory. And this was for the number 1 contenders match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Guys, cutting to the end of this did go the way I thought it would go. Swerve in Our Glory won by pinfall with Ground Zero from Keith Lee on Dax Harwood to become the number 1 contenders to the AEW World Tag Team Championship. So during this match, Kate's favorite tag team in AEW, the Gun Club, the Guns, were sitting ringside. And towards the end, as this was sort of going back and forth, they were able to keep Cash Wheeler held up against the barricade, and that's sort of part of the reason that they lost this match. Post-match, the Ass Boys and Swerve in Our Glory were able to sort of attack FTR, but the Acclaimed came down to rush the stage from the stage to make the save. And the Acclaimed, I should mention, I'm sorry, the Acclaimed did come out just to sit at ringside and watch this. And the pop they got just from the music, they didn't even do a rap or anything like that. They just came out with chairs. They scissored the chairs, which I loved. And then they just watched the whole match. So clearly, now, guys, the reason I say this went the way I thought it was going to go is because they've been lining up this thing with the Guns and FTR. So I figured they're ringside, they're going to be involved. Ryan is happier than a pig in shit right now. We're going to go to him first. So the Guns get involved. Clearly they're onto something with FTR now. And we're going to get the trilogy completed with the Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory for those tag team titles. So Schlong, you've been smiling so hard. I really thought you were going to break your face. If Kate doesn't do it, you will do it to yourself. What did you think about this, Schlong?
The reason I'm smiling so hard is because it just means that when Kate wished that FTR had a story, she was holding a monkey's paw. And they gave her her wish, but they had to do it in a way that involved the Guns. And that just makes me so incredible because of all the stories they could have done, this was the one they gave her, and I'm loving it.
It's even like Stokely Hathaway adjacent, and I hate it.
That's
like,
what's
do you
even
know
better.
how many? Do you know how much I have to be disinterested in the Ass Boys to hate what's on my screen?
I mean, that's what's better. They have everything that, not everything going for them, but like they have Stokely. They're involved with FTR. You should be okay, and you can't stand them. And I remember a couple weeks ago, everybody's like, what about FTR? And I said, well, right now FTR's championship or bust for most fans. And Kate said, just give them a story away from the championship. Give them something. And they listened.
You did ask
and
for
they
that.
gave them the Guns.
I didn't say give them a dumb story.
So happy. It's literally like a monkey's paw.
Shut up! I'll tell you what I do like about this, though. FTR on one side, MJF on one side, little Pinnacle reunion situation, maybe, with the Firm on the other side.
Could be.
I will discuss that later. I have theories.
Nothing to say about the match?
The match was awesome. Keith Lee double leapfrogging.
I thought he hurt himself there. I'm not going to lie. I thought he hurt himself.
He practically did a split in the air. Jesus Christ.
When he came down, I was like, oh no. And then it seemed okay. So I was like, oh, thank God.
Dax Harwood superplexing Keith Lee off the middle rope? What the fuck? And Keith Lee's credit too, he took that move extremely well because Dax is obviously recovering from a shoulder injury. And I was like, for a guy who probably has never been superplexed in his life, he took that move extremely well. That match was a blast. Cash Wheeler was flying in the air. I loved that match. I would not be mad if they ran that story back. A good one.
I don't think they will because I'm pretty sure that the trilogy is going to be the end of Swerve in Our Glory. They're going to lose to the Acclaimed and break. Which, listen, you kind of almost had to have the rubber match after you had two. It'll really cement Acclaim's run. Those matches are awesome, so I'm not gonna be upset by it. And then you'll have Swerve in Our Glory break up, and then FTR after they beat the Guns can go for the title, and that'll have given the Acclaimed a long enough run that it won't feel bad that if they lose it.
True. I agree with everything you guys are saying, but unlike Kate, I don't mind the Gun Club.
I like the Guns. I mean, when they dress up as FTR, come on.
Fantastic with their paper belts looking like Kate.
How dare you?
You
How
had a paper belt.
Fucking dare you compare
That was the biggest insult you've ever given her, and I
my
love
10
it.
pounds of construction paper belt to
You had a paper belt. It literally was paper.
still do. I don't know if
Well,
is
then
it-
you might not want to put it near that open flame.
No, it's not on my desk. I was just checking for
Oh
that
my
reason.
god, if she lit her belt on fire on camera.
Oh my god. Ryan,
My
we
side
couldn't-
plates on it just say beat Kevin because I beat Kevin once.
Ryan, we would never be so lucky to see that thing accidentally go up in flames live on this camera.
No. It's probably in a trophy case somewhere.
You
Or
just
is it-
have a Detolf there with your championships in it.
Just the paper one.
That's it.
The
You
paper
don't even
belt
have-
and my trophy from when I won a home run derby when I was in 6th grade.
Okay.
Those two things.
Well, actually, what we don't realize is she has like 7 paper belts. She makes paper belts for everything.
Why are you assuming I made it?
You
Oh,
ordered
it was
one?
very obvious you made it.
It was granted to me.
By who?
I won it. I fucking won it.
Who
By
did you beat?
the Shining Wizards Podcast Federation. I beat Kevin. That's why my side
Yeah,
plates
but,
say
like, who
beat
did-
Kevin because I beat
my-
Kevin twice.
My question remains: who did you beat?
I beat Kevin. And then they made
Yeah, you're not-
a deal belt. And then
You're not answering my when you beat
they haven't
someone.
had me back on.
They tried.
You didn't show.
But someone. But
I got
when you went into the parking lot,
attacked.
when you went in the parking lot, something happened to you.
the Lord, the porking Lord.
Porking Lord.
I'm the rightful heir to the
Wait.
Can You Beat That Championship.
Schlong, all I can tell you is this. Paper champions deserve paper belts.
Truth. By the way, this is a question that needs answering. Who would have the better heel run, Kate
Oh, me.
or Ryan?
Me by a million.
But see, here's what I think happens. Everyone thinks you're the heel. So, like, okay, you'll have the heel run. No one's going to see the heel turn coming from me, which means I'll get the real heat. I'll get that Hogan turning at Bash at the Beach heat. I will fucking change the world.
You're mighty high on yourself over there.
Someone has to be.
The fact that you two guys are arguing over this tells me neither of you will be a good heel.
Oh, God, no. If they put me in a wrestling ring and were like, hey, try to be a heel, I'd bomb so badly.
Oh, I had an idea that I was going to be Casey Catal's heavy, but I would just cry and run away. Yeah, I'd come out there.
I say, how are you
Like,
going to be her heavy? She's
presents.
fucking tough as shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
she
she's
is.
tiny. So I'd be like
Doesn't matter.
6 inches taller than her, come out looking all tough, and then someone would hit me and I'd be like, ow.
Can
And
you
then I'd run
imagine
away
Kate
crying.
the heater? Oh, she'd be lukewarm
They
at
flicker.
best. Yeah.
You are just burying me. Get
called
on with the
being-
show, monkey. I'm done.
Guess what? It's called being a fucking heel, and you don't need to work at it.
Yeah, you're a real natural ant.
I'm sorry. Were you saying something?
Move along.
Okay.
So
So we go. We move on from this
Gun
to.
club above me. Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, gun. You want to keep talking about the gun club?
No, I feel like I have Austin and Colton over here.
Okay.
Austin.
Wait, which one's the rapper?
Austin.
Austin.
Damn it! All right.
That's why I was so happy. I get to.
You're
get
also the
some
one that can
raps.
sell, so you're welcome.
Renee Paquette is backstage interviewing Saraya, and they're all smiles. Renee is basically saying she's the Joan Jett to her Blondie, and then Dr. Britt Baker rolls up. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, rolls up, and she starts to basically talk trash at Saraya, and they're going back and forth. And Renee says, "This isn't how you do this. They're gonna do it right later." So next week, we're going to have a sit down with Saraya and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Renee will host it. So we'll see what happens there. What I'm going to assume is going to happen, lady and gent, is Saraya will be saying I'm clear and I want to match at Full Gear. That's going to be it. That's where we're getting to.
I agree. I have nothing to add. You're dead on.
I did like in this promo that she said, you don't even know what I'm doing here. Because, like, I think that leans into what happened in real life of people being like, so is she a conduit for the division? Is she a GM? Is she going to wrestle? So I really liked that in this promo. And good for Renee for keeping shit locked down backstage.
That's right. She's like, let me show you how professionals do it. A sit down in the ring where you can still beat each other up.
There it is. Like
unless they agree to no physicality, because that's been a thing lately. No physicality. I agree to that. Guys, we go to commercial and come back, and Renee Paquette, very busy night, is out on the ramp interviewing Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He, of course, one of my favorite things he's been doing lately, asks if there's any devil worshippers in the house, and he starts to hit on Renee, which leads her to make a sour face. And she asks about his match at Full Gear. He does a bad impression of Jon Moxley, sort of stomping around, walking around, talking about mashing bones and drinking his piss.
That was a great impression.
I thought it was good.
It was fantastic.
He calls John mid, with all due respect. And that's when Renee points out that you can't just use all due respect and get as a get out of disrespect free card, which gets him to tell her, Renee, with no disrespect, shut your mouth, which I just fucking loved.
The crowd's not supposed to cheer. That was my only thing. I was like,
it's Norfolk, Virginia, It
That's
is
a
what
good
it
point.
is. He says last week he overstated it when he said he was going to win clean. He means a relatively clean for him. He is MJF after all. He calls William Regal a disgusting elderly rat, but says, to his point, he won't use the Dynamite Diamond Ring against Moxley because he doesn't need it. He's taken every grudge he has, mashed them down into a chip, and put it directly on his shoulder. He's not fighting Regal, Moxley, or Penta at Full Gear. He's fighting every sorry scumbag that ever told him he's not good enough. He's going to take that chip off his shoulder and shove it down each of their throats when he's the new AEW champion. And for some goddamn reason, Stokely Hathaway decides to come in and interrupt MJF yet again. And he's talking about, taking care of Jon Moxley before Full Gear. Friedman cuts him off and says that he'll cut Stokely some slack because maybe he's a little comfortable having known him for so long. But if Moxley gets past Penta tonight, he needs him at 110% because he doesn't want anybody to give any excuses as to why he won. So Hathaway is not to touch him or even look at him, or he'll be fired. And that's when he says he's going to do his way over line and get out. The crowd was cheering for him. I think maybe, Kate, they were also cheering for the fact that he basically put Stokely in his place. I think that was sort of part of it. But
yeah, but they were cheering when he was mean to Renee, and I don't appreciate that.
Well,
but all I could think about was in when he in what is it? The Ricky Bobby movie.
Oh, Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights. He does that exact thing. He's like, I'm saying with all due respect. And that just insults him, but I can't remember what he says. But he does the exact same thing.
That's why I think they were cheering, because it was so great. He's like, Renee, with all due respect, shut your mouth.
Right.
Yeah, this is an objectively funny line.
I understand that, but Renee's an angel.
She's a mother.
She is.
Mothers are angels.
So I love this segment. I love this segment, and again, we're sort of like looking at this firm thing. We'll come back to the firm a little bit later, but to this point in the night, this is the second time we're seeing him basically tell Stoke, back off, or there's going to be major problems. Schlong, what do you think about this?
I'm not going to speak much because I want to talk more at the end because my whole grand conspiracy. However, MJF is great on the mic. Renee's side eye is world class. And that's it.
Kate, I imagine that Schlong is over there working his board. You know, like he's got a cork board, he's got pictures, and then he's got push pins with red yarn tying them
I'm
together.
Charlie
No, Carol in HR.
Right.
Kate, you beat me to the line. God damn it.
What was the other one? Pepe Sylvia.
All these people exist, and they've been looking for their mail for days.
I love that show. I gotta go back and watch it. Kate, what did you think about the interview?
It was really good. I thought this was effective. I think they're addressing the elephant in the room of that MJF is going to have some babyface tendencies for a while, but he doesn't necessarily need to change character to do that. And I also, at this point, and this got reinforced later, was kind of like, all right, so MJF is either in on this or he's not. Like, well, and at the end of the show, I still don't know which is true. I think he's not, but I am intrigued by where this story goes, and it's just nice to see these stories settling in a little bit, having some teeth to them. Like it's nice to have some long-term storytelling because it kind of went away there for a few months. So very excited to see how this unfolds, and very excited that we'll be seeing it unfold in person.
Boom.
At Full Gear.
In a luxury suite.
In a luxury suite with my own bathroom, and I'll pee whenever the fuck I want. How about them apples?
Whoa.
Whoa.
As long as you use the bathroom and not the sink, that's fine.
No promises.
They did show a War Joe package, basically building Matt Taven versus Wardlow for Friday night for the TNT Championship. So keep an eye out for that.
Matt Taven.
I always think the same thing too. Matt Taven. And then we get the American Dragon Bryan Danielson versus Sammy Guevara. Now let's cut to the end here real quick. Bryan Danielson wins by referee stoppage. He's able to get Sammy in the triangle choke. He rains elbows down, and Sammy just goes limp. And Bryce Remsburg makes the call.
Did you call him Rice Rensburg?
Sorry, I thought I said Bryce. Maybe I didn't.
It's like me saying Yuta Wheeler before.
But I didn't know if you did it as almost like an insult. I was like, is that an insult I'm missing?
No, nothing wrong with Bryce. He's actually one of the more astute referees. But it's easy to be like, the smartest kid on the short bus when there's really not that much going on in that referee pool. Anyway, guys, the only thing I kept thinking was during this match, all of the reports were that Sammy had a problem with Andrade because he worked too stiff. What's he going to say to Bryan Danielson after this match?
That Bryan Danielson is a favor hire and a jobber, I think. I would say, not to be controversial about the match, but I think Bryan Danielson's pretty good. Like, I think he's a pretty good wrestler, I think.
Going out on a limb.
Lazy bum.
That, what did they call it? The Rocky Romero special or whatever, that like surfboard stretch that always looks so painful. And I love it when someone of Danielson's size uses it, because it's just, no matter how short you are, when you got that shit locked in, his arsenal of being able to finish you and with so many different moves is such a compelling thing for storytelling, because it really does make you feel like the match could end at any point. I thought Guevara looked good. His character, however, is dead in the water. Like, in-ring wise, he's perfectly fine, but like, he's just not really getting any reactions. There's not really any movement. Like, he was supposed to be a pillar, and now he just kind of feels like a persistent Jericho lackey that makes out with his hot wife, which, good on him. She's gorgeous. So I would like there to be something to him a little bit more, but in-ring, this was fantastic, and Danielson just keeps cementing his legacy further and further as things go on. But nice to see Bryan Danielson getting wins on television again.
I agree. Schlong, what did you think of the match?
Match is fantastic. I think people don't appreciate how good Sammy actually is in the ring. Kate said like his character's got issues, but in ring work, I think Sammy's just awesome. I'm a big fan of the way he wrestles. I think he does things in a unique fashion that not everyone does. Character-wise for him, what sucks is I think they had finally figured out how to make him and Ty work as heels. Like, they realized what they had to do, and I think it was starting to generate the proper kind of heat. And then he had the whole situation in the back, and I think that hurt him. And being constantly tied to Jericho is always overshadowing him. So part of it's his fault, like the backstage stuff, that's on him. The Jericho stuff isn't. Like, put him out on his own, because I do think, like I said, some people, I know the heel who makes out with his hot girlfriend isn't everyone's favorite heel, but that is a good heel character when the handsome guy gets the hot girl and they're just making out. Like, that is something that people are going to hate. So it's not a bad thing, but he gets just tied in with the Jericho stuff. And if you ever listen to him cut a promo with the Jericho stuff, the one that we could barely hear earlier, he sometimes sounds like he's doing Kate's impression of like back in the 40s.
Yowza?
Yowza, but yes.
I'm here selling typewriters, you see, and you feed the paper in at the top, and you use the keystrokes, and voila, a newsletter pops out.
Maybe you need a new set of encyclopedias.
Yowza, do I have the collection for you?
It's called Britannica. Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a fantastic match. Sammy's in-ring stuff looked good. We agree on the fact that something isn't working with the character, so we just got to maybe pivot a little bit, just find something you're kind of, comfortable with for a character. If he had a problem with Andrade working stiff, then I'd love to know what kind of conversation he had with Danielson tonight, because there was a point early on in this match where I think I even said to Mrs. Money, are they shoot fighting right now? Like, it looks like Sammy was taking... Go ahead.
Sorry, no idea. I thought let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why. So you're saying that, are they shoot fighting? If someone accused you of almost being like a whiny bitch of like, oh, I can't work stiff wrestlers, what's the first thing you'd go out and do?
What would I do?
Like, if you wanted to prove that person wrong, you'd go and work the stiffest fucking match you could.
Yeah.
And it feels like almost feels like that's what he did. He wanted to be like, oh, it's out there that I don't like working stiff. Danielson knocked the shit out of me.
Yeah, I don't know. Or it could just be Tony Khan being like, you're going to take your lumps now. Because you put me in a terrible fucking position. I don't know. Listen, all I know is this. Danielson continues to look good. That stretch, Kate, while you said it looks painful, I bet you it feels so fucking good on your back.
It does, right?
I would try it just to be like, pop all the way down my spine just to feel my back crack. All right, moving on. Phoenix and Abrahantes are interviewed backstage about, Penta's match for the world title tonight. Excuse me. And if they think Penta is going to win, and Alex suggests that Ray go after the All-Atlantic Championship, and that's when Luchasaurus and Christian Cage come up and say, Luchasaurus is getting a match for the All-Atlantic Championship, and that's when Orange Cassidy rolls in and says, hey, are you talking about me? Next week, you're going to do it. Next week, we're going to do it, and then we'll go to break. So next week, we get Orange Cassidy, Luchasaurus, and Ray Phoenix for the All-Atlantic Championship. Should be good.
I like the triple threat.
His entire run, I hope it's just triple threats. Like, let that be his run.
Yeah, he just literally beats everybody. But yeah, that should be a fun match. Now, this is what we're dubbing this on the show as Kate's bathroom break moment of the night. This is Jamie Hayter versus Riho. And cutting to the end, Kate, this is going to be news to you. Jamie Hayter wins by pinfall with that ripcord lariat. So,
Who gives a shit?
exactly. Jamie Hayter, they kind of traded blows back and forth all the way to the end, and eventually it just became too much. Excuse me, for Riho, and Jamie Hayter was able to get the win here. Post-match, Toni Storm came into the stage and held up her title belt, so it looks like maybe we're going to get a title match or something in the not-too-distant future. Yeah, I mean, listen, this was a perfectly fine match. I don't like Riho, and I think I even said to Miss Some Money at the time, if Rio wins, I give up on this women's division because they just don't know what they've got. I mean, Jamie Hayter is way over. She's got a great coolie, and
What more could you want?
yeah, I mean, give me her and Toni Storm. Just give it to me. Give me what I want. Kate, you went to the bathroom, so you don't really have too much to say on this. Ryan, what did you think about this ladies' match?
This match humped. It was fucking good. These two went at it hard. I know you don't like Rio, but I actually like her in-ring work a lot.
Just to recap, Ryan said that this humped and that they went at each other hard for the entire time. Just in case. Yeah.
Facing Hayter was the first time Riho didn't have the overwhelming crowd support. I've noticed it. Fuck you, Kate.
It's true. She did. You're right. She didn't have the overwhelming crowd support. You're 100% right.
I heard it, Kate. I just wasn't.
I swear to God, I'm gonna punch you in the throat next time I see you.
The throat. Watch your throat.
I'll be careful with my throat.
Protect your throat.
I will.
I hate you all. So glad the Yankees lost.
Doesn't matter. We're talking wrestling.
But
What's
anyway,
baseball?
Your favorite sport?
What's a baseball?
Never heard of her.
So it was a great match. I think Hayter versus Storm is gonna be great, and I would love for Hayter to go over, but she's not. So
See, if you lean into it, we can't beat you. That's the thing you feel.
yeah, but the problem is I don't always know I'm doing it. It just I say a word and then it's like. Fuck.
I'm kind of somewhere in between you guys. I normally don't love Riho matches. This one I liked a lot better because the story was centralized around their size difference, and I feel like the way it was agented, outside of a crossbody that I just don't believe could really take out anybody. I think that this was actually agented to minimize a lot of that, and I thought it was a really strong match. That code red at the end, holy shit, did they go home on something fun? The right woman won. The story is continuing. Still, in my opinion, like encouraging things from the women's division here, and not top of the hour, but like a 9:07 p.m. slot, still better than 9:30, so I'll take it. From what I saw in like GIFs or whatever.
Right, because you did go to the bathroom.
Of course.
And spent a while in there, apparently. My God.
Yeah.
You
did. It was a long
Taco
one.
Bell, you know.
Oh. Let's see. After this, Renee Paquette interviews Eddie Kingston backstage. He says he's great, wonderful. And that the little thing where they talk, it's great. He's having a blast. You know, this is a real smile, he says. And he wants people to stop worrying about him, and he wants to talk about his John Powell and the match they have tonight. And so
he definitely wants to talk about his John Powell.
His pal John, sorry. His John Powell. Pal John. And then Renee says that she thinks he's gonna do it. He says, yep, that's right. And he's showing himself smiling, and he's, just doing everything normal, and he goes, I just want to stop. And then that's kind of like the end. Kate, you are an Eddie Kingston mark, so you made sure to be running back to your seat from the bathroom.
Of course. Chicken tenders in hand.
Very true. What did you think about this?
I mean, I'm an Eddie Mark, like you said, but I also thought it was
Mhm.
fun. Like, he was very silly in this. I kind of wish he had gotten a little more mixed up in the main event situation because his locker room wasn't locked and that was his friends out there. But
True.
this was perfectly fine. Seeing him and Renee on screen together is fun, knowing that there's some real life friendship there and stuff too. But I like silly Eddie. I want this cake, Eddie. This was fun. Perfectly harmless.
I did enjoy him calling Renee sister. What up, sister? Schlong, anything you want to add about Eddie Kingston and Renee?
I just appreciate how uncomfortable she looked, because that is selling what's going on with Eddie more than anything else. Is that everyone knows there's a friendship there. So for her to look uncomfortable shows that something is seriously wrong with this guy.
Yeah, I think you're right. She looked at him almost the same way people look at Kanye West having a mental breakdown, not for his anti-Semitic remarks, but just the sheer mental breakdown that he's having. Hey, Jesse Ozog wants to know if we can pronounce this word individually to see if we all say it weird. So I don't actually know, Jesse Ozog, where you're from, but Schlong, can you say this word?
So they want me to say water, but I'll say water.
Okay. Kate?
Water.
Oh, for sure. I thought you were going to be like water. But
no,
you
I
fought
never got
through
to that point. But there are people from where I'm from that say water.
Water. You fought through it. You got it. And I say water. So I don't know.
Like, God,
I don't say water. It's one thing I don't say.
Thank God.
You just said it.
Fuck you.
Kate, he said it.
Wooter.
So we hype up the card for next week. We get all the matches, Jay Lethal and Darby Allin and Chris Jericho and his mystery opponent. We've talked through it all. Now it's time for the main event. It's Jon Moxley versus Penta for the AEW World Championship. And cutting to the finish, Moxley wins by pinfall with the Death Rider to retain the AEW World Championship. Now, post-match, the Firm hit the ring and beat down Moxley. Stoke comes to the ring to conduct the show, basically. Gets the turnbuckles as security comes down, and then his guys beat the guards down. They show Marvez in the back outside of the locker room for the Blackpool Combat Club, because of course everybody's saying, where are they? Well, they're in the dressing room talking things over like adults, and somebody chained the doors closed. So they say, the security guy turns around and goes, I need to get bolt cutters. Very calmly. So
You're a better actor than he is, Ant.
Thank you. So there's no help for Mox, and then MJF comes out, on the ramp, and he looks really conflicted. He takes his jacket off. He can't bring himself to stop the Firm. And then all of a sudden he comes running with full steam. MJF gets everybody off Moxley. He fires Stoke, and then Ethan Page lays him out with a big boot. The Firm beats MJF down. All Ego hits the Ego's edge on MJF, and then they take MJF to the Timekeeper's table, and Morrissey drags him over and power bombs him through it. And that's really the end of the show. So, no Blackpool Combat Club. They didn't come to help Mox. He doesn't know where they are.
Well, they were chained away, right?
Well, that's right. But, what I'm thinking is maybe this is a little bit of a fracture. And Mox is like, where were you guys? Like, chained or not, like, you should be ready to roll. So maybe this is going to drive a wedge in the group, and they're going to just have to fight their way through it. I don't know. I like the match, just to sort of jump backwards. I like the match. I like the post-match stuff too, but the fact that there really was nobody but MJF to come out and help make the save was a little frustrating to me.
Yeah, somebody in catering doesn't want to help the champ. Feels like a little bit like, even if you're going to justify Blackpool Combat Club being away, you would think somebody would want to help the world champion who's a face in your company. Match was great. The pile driver cells from Penta are always fantastic. That spot near the stairs was great and a little scary, but really, really fun. A nice like palate cleanse, obviously, from what happened last week, which was so scary. But I really liked this match. This is what I expected from the two of them, and I thought stylistically it was really fun. And the post match is interesting. I feel like the idea of MJF setting this whole thing up to win clean, but not that clean, is something that could be very, very fun as a story. But the way Ethan Page attacked MJF was like they were waiting for this moment, right? So there's also this other fun side of like if Stokely and the firm were waiting to prey on MJF because they saw weakness in him or whatever. I also like the idea of leading into Full Gear because we have some time. You could run the can they coexist trope and it'd be really fun of like MJF and Mox having to take on. I guess you would probably do like Morrissey and Lee Moriarty or Ethan Page or something because. Right. The ass boys are tied up in something already. So I think that could be really fun. I think seeing MJF earnestly trying to win the right way is a really fun story, whether you turn him full face or not. Or if it's a gotcha moment, that has a lot of intrigue to me too. I just feel like him taking the ego's edge the way he did and ending up through the table feels like he's getting punished for doing something right for once in his life. And that is a really, really, really fun layer to the story. So honestly, either way, I'm very intrigued.
Schlong, what'd you think?
So the match was awesome. No blood. I was very shocked. Moxley without blood just doesn't feel right. But the match was awesome. I knew those two would deliver. You're talking to the great ones. Now to the aftermatch. Going to bring up a story, children, of when Satan boxed Jesus.
Oh boy.
So Satan and Jesus had a boxing match. Everyone saw that Satan was better than Jesus. So, bigger, I should say, tougher than Jesus. So everyone put their money on Satan. But see, Satan was playing a different game. Satan wanted to lose this match so that he could win something better, more money. So he took the dive. So I go, who's calling himself the devil? AKA Satan. MJF. So what does he do right now? He goes, I'm going to lose this battle so I can win the bigger prize. So he talks to his friend Stokely and goes, beat me up. But it's got to look real to fool Moxley because Moxley will be looking for this swerve. So he takes a beating and a half. He lets Ethan Page beat the shit out of him. You get the ego's edge. You get put through a table. Who is going to doubt that this was real? And he's not going to cheat. He wants to do it right because that's what William Regal said. Come to the match at Full Gear. You got the devil still there, but now people think he's a good guy. Just like they thought the devil was going to dominate Jesus. And then, sure enough, he cheats. The firm cost Moxley. Satan takes a dive, and they win the bigger prize, the belt. That is the story that I believe is being told.
Would MJF also have a gay relationship with a guy? What was his name? Chris, I think.
Well, and Saddam.
Right, of course.
Sure.
I'm sure he would, given the opportunity. But he's engaged, so I don't think at the moment.
It's true.
But I'm just saying he keeps calling himself the devil. And the devil's whole plan is to make you believe he doesn't exist so that he can get you when you're least suspected.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it could go either way, sincerely. I'm intrigued.
I'll say this again, not knowing where this is headed is part of the fun. You can't see it on, you can't see the writing on the wall.
Listen, I got to explain the South Park trope on TV. I'm in on this spot. I guess I'm happy.
Kate, do you do an excellent Towley impression?
Don't forget to bring a towel.
That's
Won't
pretty
get
fucking
high.
good.
That
Sounds
was
like
better.
sounds like the beats of Funky Town.
Sounds like the beats of Funky Town.
You're the worst, Tally.
Wanna get high?
So all in all, a pretty fun episode of Dynamite tonight. They're, continuing to advance some of this stuff to Full Gear because the full card has not been. Jeez, I'm sorry. It's
What
just
the fuck was that?
full court
I
hasn't
did
been
thumbs
released.
up and I brought my elbow down. I accidentally gave the people's elbow to my desk. But just the
Gotta
side
give-
of it.
You got to give the people what they want.
It's true.
Well, let me see here. Two pieces of news and note, things that were newsworthy. The other stuff is sort of out there. It is what it is. Apparently CJ Perry was asked, something about Miro, when she appeared on Busted Open. And, she basically said, Tony Khan has a vision. I think there's this illusion that at AEW that the talent booked the show, but it's more of just a conversation. And she basically goes on to say that, Miro is not being used because their AEW is really no different than the WWE. So some heat, some shade being thrown by CJ Perry. All I know is I do want to see more see more Miro.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that Tony Khan doesn't love Miro. I think he's a lot of money and had the most successful mid-card run of their history. So I'm hoping they line something up for him soon.
Yeah, I have a feeling his story fell apart unexpectedly, having nothing to do, and they just haven't been able to pivot to Tony. I will say the one weakness for Tony Khan is stories like Miro's, that mid-card story. He's not, if he has something long-term in plan, he's not great about pivoting that guy real quick. He's more to leave him off until the next progression takes place.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, but we'll see what happens with Miro. And Kate, as you alluded to before, people close to CM Punk spoke to Wrestling Inc.'s Nick Housen, and I guess he's saying Larry was injured, or we're being told Larry was hurt during this whole scrum. So Kate, you brought it up before. Anything you need to say about Larry?
Yeah, I've got a lot to say about this ant.
I'm gonna hide.
One person, dog, that matters.
A dog, not a person.
In the whole situation, and it's Larry. He had two teeth knocked loose, and they had to be pulled.
Allegedly.
And I'll tell you what, if they were those little underbite teeth, and they're the ones that got yanked, I'm suing someone for emotional distress. That poor dog. There's dental records of this dog to verify that that's what happened. Right?
They haven't shown the
Justice
records.
for
It's just
Larry.
been word.
Yeah, but I mean, that's pretty. Justice for Larry. That's something verifiable. I don't think you would make that up. Nick Hausman's pretty good.
I mean, you could make up why they were removed. They could have been removed for 1,000 reasons.
Yeah, but it was a dentist appointment that they already had set up.
That's what I'm saying. So they could have been needed to come out anyway.
I mean, two teeth needing to be pulled out of nowhere is kind of an unlikely story.
Listen, I'm just saying.
Nick Hausman was the one that Punk buried. I wouldn't be surprised if he gave him a story to smooth things over in some way. And it just makes sense that now that the investigation is wrapped up a little bit, that more information would be coming out. That's just like a natural conclusion of an investigation being wrapped up. And it also does explain why someone would go a little more batshit, I think. If like people were trying to knock down his door or whatever, and the dog is going nuts and the dog gets hit, like I'd probably blow a gasket a little bit quicker too. So it just makes sense. But the important thing is Larry's the only the only one that matters in this whole situation. People are stupid. Dogs are great.
So I'm gonna ignore. I could go conspiracy theory. I don't believe in conspiracy theory. I'm gonna have a fun conspiracy theory, not a shitty one of like, did this happen or not? We'll never know. None of us were there. There's a lot of conflicting stories. Not all of them make sense. There's details in every single one I've heard that doesn't add up to details from another one I've heard. I'm ignoring all that. My conspiracy theory is that they have smoothed things over with Punk. And Punk's coming back. And this is going to be the driving force, is his dog. And this is a story.
I mean, Larry is over.
That's what I'm saying. You'll instantly get, if you don't want him to come back as heel, you instantly use the dog thing and he's coming back face. Yes. And this is how he comes back. If you fucking hurt my dog, I'm coming after you. Boom, it's a story. That's where I think this is going.
There's absolutely way.
She froze. Yeah, I don't say she
yeah.
She
absolutely froze. No way Punk is coming back as a face if he comes back. I think they wanted him to be heel anyway. And I think
but the dog, I believe someone said dogs are better than people. So if he's defending a dog, he's coming back face.
I think Larry is over. There's no way. There's no way.
I mean, he's coming back. Revenge for Larry is what this is all about now.
Hashtag.
I mean, I'd support it.
That's the story.
Well, guys, those are the big.
There's a piece of news you missed.
Go ahead. I was going to say that's all I had, but whatever you guys have.
There was a signing.
Who's that?
We speculated that they could be signed, but we weren't sure.
Mm-hmm.
But Fight Club is reporting that Matt Taven,
mm-hmm.
Bennett,
mm-hmm.
and Maria Kanellis are all signed.
Well, we touched on Matt Taven. We didn't go too dig on Taven. Taven did say something like, I'm new here and I'm here to prove myself or something like that. So I did think like, hey, he said something that would lead me to believe that he's there full-time
this
now.
Is another, we said it last week, but said again, this is another strong female mind in that locker room.
That's the one I'm excited about. I gotta be honest, I don't give a shit about Matt Taven. I just never have.
Listen, I don't. I think Bennett is amazing. I think he's an amazing person, and I hope nothing but success for him. But Maria Kanellis in that locker room is huge.
That rules.
That's the big one. That was the one that I said when they sort of debuted. I said, I don't care about anything else. At the very least, they need to make sure Maria has a contract.
Because now you have Maria, Renee, and Sarai all now on top of the people you already had there, but 3 brand new ones in that locker room pushing for the women's division. Put like all, that's a big deal.
Well, I hope it's true. But it's a good week. Willow's all elite. Woo-hoo! If they signed up Maria Kanellis, that's good. So it's been a pretty good week. Been a pretty good week.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. So Kate, we talked a little bit before about what you got going on, but why don't you tell the people where you are when you're not here?
Yowza, where could I be? In Binghamton, New York on November 5th doing commentary for Excite Wrestling, twitch.tv, Excite Wrestling with an X, not an E. This is wrestling we're talking about. You can also catch me on Tuesdays doing the Sour Graps NXT post show, Fridays doing the AEW Rampage and SmackDown post show, and all pay-per-views behind the paywall at Fightful Select. So catch me there.
Boom. Schlong, what do you got going on?
So I'm doing commentary for Excite Wrestling in Binghamton, New York.
Awesome.
Knock
yourself out.
Replacing this chick on this show.
Have fun.
No, I got nothing going on. Find me Mondays and Tuesdays, live tweeting dark and elevation at Mark Order Pod. There the rest of the week, just hanging out, being cool, living my life, doing my thing, saying that dogs aren't people. You know how it goes.
Okay. Kate, any rebuttal to that?
Yeah, have fun at Excite. Enjoy the drive.
I've made that drive.
I know you have. Knock yourself out.
Whoa.
Literally.
Oh, hey, whatever you got to do.
Yes.
Guys, are we going, speaking of sort of indie wrestling, are we going to Rawway November 12th for WrestlePro 100?
My dad's birthday is the day before, so let me find out. But I would
gotta
say
wash
yes,
my hair.
otherwise.
Schlong, are you kidding? You got to come to WrestlePro.
I've never been to WrestlePro. I have no idea what.
Oh, you got to. Looks like Bear Country's going to be there.
Who's Bear Country? I know Iron Savages.
Oh, sorry. But I think they might be Bear Country in WrestlePro.
That's even better.
You gotta get a passport
True.
to Bear Country.
That's true. Let's see. When I'm not here, well, you're not going to catch me anywhere else because this is really the only place I'm at. You can follow me on Twitter if you want, at AntMoney. I don't do much there. Instagram at AntMoney 24/7.
You're never gonna catch me. You're wasting your time.
Chasing the dragon, right? Oh, that's so fantastic. Oh, almost got me. So I'll plug things for us in general. Follow us on our socials at Mark Order Pod. As Schlong said, he's tweeting along on the Twitter. We got the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube, which, by the way, we had like 4 new subscribers last week. Hello, new subscribers out there. Thank you for supporting us. And to anybody else who wants to support us in those ways, if you are listening in podcast form, we do love you, but you should certainly check us out in video form. You can check out our YouTube.
Love is a strong word, Ant.
What?
Love is a big word.
No. We love them.
We love them.
We cherish them. We love and cherish them at the same time. But check us out on YouTube. And if you are listening in podcast form, please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Anything like that helps us out in the podcast. And for all you people who've been hanging out tonight on YouTube, hi, thank you for sitting here and watching us on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed so that way you don't forget when we're on. You can get the notifications. It's not a great look for Schlong. If you're watching us on YouTube, you really know what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness. Oof.
What happened to your eyebrows? It's
They
like
look very
1 to
pointy.
1.
Yeah.
They got aggressive.
If you do listen on you or watch on YouTube and maybe you bail out in the middle of the show, certainly go to our to find us on all the other podcast platforms, Spotify, all that kind of jazz. Again, don't forget about the free stickers. Click the link tree in all of our social profiles and you can request free stickers. We'll send you out some free stickers. Just make sure that you are giving us your name, your full mailing address, and the country you live in, so we're sure we know where it's going. Other than that, as I said before, if you're watching Rampage on Friday night, you may see somebody sitting ringside who resembles me. That will be me. Guys, I'll maybe throw a couple pictures on our Instagram, maybe a TikTok up there, something like that. So stay tuned for that. Jesus, Schlong. Other than that,
off the stream. I don't know what you're doing.
It's frightening. He's no captain. I know that much. But still frightening. Other than that, check us out next week, Wednesday night, same time, same channel, for more Mark Order podcast. Always a pleasure here with Kate the Great and Ryan Schlong. This is the holy triumvirate of the
Schlong and good night, everyone.
This is the holy triumvirate. Well, Kate, we're just going to say it's the power duo of the Mark Order podcast, Kate the Great and AntMoney here. We will see you next week to talk more AEW. Thank you for your support. And guys, Ryan, Kate, love you guys. See you soon. Bye.
concludes the Mark Order podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Join the Mark Order.